Amazing evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and happy Democracy Day to all of us. Welcome to Updated Precious. Now, here we give an update for things that happen for inside Nigeria. Sincere apologies for starting a bit behind schedule, but I be want to make sure say my sound they good from the other end, especially say my guest go fit hear me and make sure say our village people they know they involved for this conversation today again. Precious Inyan, I be my name. Today na June 12 and we celebrate Democracy Day today. And a lot of things supposed to happen. We suppose happy well. But it can't be like say some part of the world then they mourn as they talk to you because plane crash happened for India, where BC kill over 200 people or about 200 people where BC day on board. And that one don't cause a lot of chaos and shock because people just they mourn. So make I give one at the headline sharply. Air India plane crashes at India's Ahmedabad airport, sources say. And that matter it get as a be well. In fact, as they talk you, shock spreads in India and UK after India plane with 200 crashes at India Ahmedabad Airport. And then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also done mourn victims of tragic Air India plane crash. He decommiserated them. Now, speaking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he addressed the joint section of the National Assembly today. And not just the joint session, even some governors will be present in that event, and then some former principal officers of the House of Assembly. I cited Bukola Saraki. Some other people they also did present for that event today, and it was massive. So he gave a full speech. I wish that for fit read out that full speech, but it's too long. It will take all our time, and I know some of the likely to take on the time. But inside that full speech, it conferred national honors on Kudirat Abiola, Shoyinka, Ken Sarawiwa, and others. It can't grant the Ogoni 9 and Ken Sarawiwa them presidential pardon. He pardon them, forgive them for anything we don't commit in the past. Posthumously, though, because they don't die. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for inside that gathering also say some things maybe say get people to talk. He talk say, for those we talk say, I won't do one party system. If I not put on a house together now on a sabio, because me, Shao, I like to see you now in scatter. It's a pleasure to see you in Disarray. Tinubu mock PDP, Labour Party, and other political parties the way kata the worry or day among them. Now, Tinubu can't deny, say, in the stop registration of new political parties. Say, not be true. So, with the hope, say, after now, Oga Mahmoud Yakubu will go ahead to make sure, say, in begin register political parties. This one way Oga don't talk, say, no, you have not inside. And still inside that event, now it be say, Oga Akpabio talk will be the Senate president. He say, democracy, the Tinubu has transformed decayed Nigeria. Say Nigeria we don't rot in budget like this. Say Tinubu don't transform am. All right, it's not the only day talk because Peter Obi talk today to be Democracy Day. He talk say democracy in recession under Tinubu's rule. Say the democracy be like say it don't enter recession, it don't enter break for Tinubu rule. And Peter Obi talk that one. Not be only Peter Obi talk, even Atiku Abubakar talk too. He said June 12, what we are witnessing is not governance. Now so Atiku talk that one. He also lament. So you see, different people then talk today. But as democracy, people they celebrate democracy. We're supposed to be happy. They say, hey, thank God we get freedom. Oh, things they good for us. So, but protesters then condemn major roads for inside Oyo. They cry about insecurity, hardship, the economic hardship, and hunger. On a democracy day, you go come the one that say, we're supposed to they say we they get and right now. In fact, the June 12 protest, soldiers take over Delta community as activists go into hiding. That one said they happen today or it shall today as they celebrate democracy day. Now waiting they come, they say, waiting they go on now. But sharply, I know go bore you with other issues concerning those protests and all that. Make I quickly bring in my guest. Mr. Shego Shokwito, now my guest, and he'll join me for Inside the House. Oga Shokwito, thank you so much as you follow me sit down this evening. I
It's a
appreciate you.
pleasure. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure,
Thank
Precious.
you. Thank you
Always a
so much.
pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Thank you. So it is so sad. Say we start at a very, very sad note as it be say shock day everywhere now concerning the one way it be say one plane crash for inside India. So shock and panic they spread for India following reports of the crash of an Air Indian plane heading to the Gatwick in the United Kingdom. There were about 256 people on board. India's aviation minister now they talk this one.
Mm.
King Jarapu Mohan Naida says he is shocked and devastated as the crash in Ahmedabad, happened. For inside post to ABC put up for Twitter handle, the Indian chairman Natarajin talk say, with profound sorrow, I confirm that Air India Flight 171 operating Ahmedabad, London, Gatwick was involved in a tragic incident today. Our thoughts and deepest condolences are with the families and loved ones of those affected by the devastating event. That's what you talk. At this moment, our primary focus is on supporting all the affected people and their families. That's what they talk. Now, the lucky thing where they there be say, it be like say we get a survivor, one single survivor so far for inside the plane crash. Because a day man where we hear say, according to reports, say he jumped out of the plane just before it crashed. I don't know whether he carry, this thing jump out or he jump out by himself, but multiple reports don't carry him talk say he jump out of the plane and he survive alive with minor injuries because he can't dey waka sef. You can see this na Indian analyzer, nine carry am. He say confirmed one miraculous survivor in the plane crash. Say in seat number 11A, he recalls the loud boom just 30 seconds after takeoff, and the plane nose dived. He survived, stood up, walked out of the place, walked out of the area. Now just minor injury. I go show you a video of him as he used manage, and then that's not video. Make I see whether I go see video of him. This not in pictures. I don't show you the picture, but make a look whether I go put up a video of him. I seen the waka commot for inside. This na a they head towards something. And then sadly, it did two Indian tourists them we go sorry, British tourists will also did the flight, supposedly, where they just post pictures for their Insta story to show say they just they leave India to Gatwick, London. Then they on board. This na video where they put up. And you see them saying
Airport.
so this na them.
We are in the airport, just boarding. Goodbye, India.
Goodbye.
Thank
10-hour flight back to England.
Going back happily calm.
Okay, so these people now don't know say this going back and this Indian kiss where they blow like this go be their last kiss where they go ever blow because they no notice say this kind of thing being go fit happen to them, and a very very sad day across the globe because a lot of people did sad about the incidents. Make I let you chime in, but before you chime in, it is somebody where be say be note say him been board the same flight just 2 hours before the incident happened, and saying been note say a lot of things need to function for the flight, so the flight did trouble. See, I mean talk say I was in the same flight. That's his tweet. He tweeted it and said, it's 2 hours before he took off from Ahmadiyya and Ahmadiyya. I came in this form, noticed unusual things in the place, made a video to tweet to Air India. I would want to give more details. Please contact me. People can't even contact them. For there, you show him boarding pass and everything. See, truly, him being there for inside the flight. But one of the things you notice when video, one not go be play now because of time. Now talk say a lot of the electronic gadgets when inside the plane they need to function. So the thing come make and feel like say something must be wrong. How can all the even the lights they need to turn on? So something the thing make them feel like say no, something they wrong with the flight. So all the electronic gadgets, lights not in the work for inside the air flights. But make I take your opinion sharply before we enter Nigeria matters.
It's very unfortunate, and it's a sobering moment,
Very.
If you travel by air a lot, you know what
Eh?
it feels like.
Hmm.
You know what it feels like.
I
Once
can't
you
remember
board
that
that
weekend.
flight,
I can't remember that weekend Kabashi way Kabashi. See that weekend Kabashi video now. Waiting make a not Kabash that Kabash. Go ahead.
you know, if you know what it feels like, the first thing that tends to come to mind is as I they climb like this, God, I'm in your hands. Because it's
Wallahi.
not once a crash happens, very most of the time nobody survives, it's just simply because of the speed that the plane is. People don't understand the speed that a plane travels at. If you really understand, you understand why people don't survive. We are talking 800 kilometers per hour. So if you are driving at 100 kilometers per hour on the road, you know how it feels like you are driving too fast. If you are
Yeah.
driving 140 kilometers per hour, it's like you want to commit suicide. In
Hmm.
the air, the plane is going 800 kilometers per hour. So imagine if a plane coming at that speed hits anything, whether it's water, whether it's ground, everybody dies. So that guy That guy that survived, I'm sure God just has a purpose for his life, and he's some sort of gangster guy that was able to figure out how to escape. What also tends to happen when these types of things happen is people lose their mind, people lose their consciousness, people lose
Hmm.
their mindfulness and self-awareness, and a lot of times people are even dead before the death comes. So there are a lot of lessons to take from this, but my condolences to all of the people that have just, lost their loved ones. Um, I think one would also like to say, coming from the last account that you mentioned, it just
Hmm.
reminded me that India, their trajectory is very similar to Nigeria in so many ways,
Hmm.
and they
Now,
are still dealing with,
now, waiting person talk here. Where you say nothing they work for India. Say,
yeah, they're
wow.
still dealing with a lot of corruption. They're still dealing with a lot of infrastructure problems. They're still dealing with a lot of governance issues. So to us, I've been there before. I've traveled to India before, so I know, I'm kind of familiar. In fact, I was just telling my wife recently of a story where I felt so stupid that a whole me, Segun Sopetan, Lagosian, I traveled out of Lagos, where nobody feels, now with Lagos, we were very proud of our being sharp, being
Yes,
smart.
now. Say
I,
nobody go
I,
fit do
I,
you anyhow
I
because
got to Mumbai. Then dupe me. They duped me. There were two attempts to dupe me, but one finally succeeded. They tried to, the immigration, and so all this problem that we have with immigration, customs, they will collect one money from somebody. All of those things, they happen for India too. It's just that
corruption.
yes, there's a serious corruption problem in India, but they are ahead of us in the development trajectory, and they've been able to figure out some of those things. It's not as bad as it is in Nigeria, but it's not. So when I hear, well, how can you have a plane that electronic gadgets and electronic functions are not working in that plane? What happened to the Civil Aviation Authority? The authority that is supposed to regulate those aircraft and ensure that they go for their periodic checks, the A check, the C check, and whatever, all the other checks. What happened to that? How did that happen? So that just cast my mind back to look, India said, then they struggle the way Nigeria has a lot of struggles on the area of corruption, on the area of official, graft and all of that. So unfortunate incident. I wish their families well. God rest, give eternal rest to those that have lost their lives, and they help strengthen the people that they've all left behind. May God they watch all of us as we did.
Wow, this one a very tough one, oh,
It's very
because
unfortunate.
and no be saying na only India the thing go affect. Just like those two British people now, when
Yeah,
be say make them go make shakara for India come back. Now see them see wahala on top the
exactly,
shakara when they go they come back and all that.
exactly.
Well, as we talk, make their soul rest in peace. So let's dive down into Nigeria today. Now June 12, and of course it come with a lot of scenario. Where we want to start from June 12. You see the president's speech, right? Would you love to start with that? First of all, the president been first cancelled in national broadcast. Talk say he go address Nigerians at once while they address the joint national assembly. So now there he go do them at once. And then of course it did happen, and he did say
Yeah.
quite a lot of things. Before we go to the funny parts or the interesting part of the conversation, make I let you dig in on the major things in Wayne speak on if you go fit
Okay. So I think the
right.
first thing that I would like to the first thing that I would like to address is the fact, like you said, that um, we're now having a democracy-based speech from our president to a joint sitting of the National Assembly, and I think it's a good thing. And somebody, I think one legislator was suggesting that they would like to have a legislation, they would like to pass a bill that will make it compulsory going forward. You know,
Yeah,
um,
Bamidele Opeyemi.
yes, yes. So whilst that is, the entire idea is, I welcome it. Um, Unfortunately, we also have to put a bit of a dampener in terms of the context that around all of this. Number one, are we really running a democracy?
Are we not?
Is this what are we? Is this what democracy looks like? I don't think so. We don't have a democracy, precious. Let's not fool ourselves. A democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, right? In a democracy, there are some fundamental components of democratic governance. right? One of them is electoral participation. That's one, is a foundational pillar. The other is civic rights, right? The right of citizens to just do whatever they want to do as long as they don't break any law. If you want to protest, protest, no matter what the matter is and how harsh your protest is, just to make sure you don't break buildings, don't burn roads, don't burn houses, right? Freedom, press freedom. These are fundamental, foundational components of democracy. There are about two other pillars. Now, is that what we have in Nigeria? The rule of law is very critical. That's a fourth one. Abiding by the rules, by the rule of law in that country. That is, whatever it is that the law says, the operators of the country follow those laws to the letter, right? A judicial system that enforces the rule of law. A security system, security service, if you like, infrastructure, architecture, that ensures that they can also enforce, help the judiciary to enforce. That's why they are all put together and they are called the justice system. Police, they there, DSS, they there, the courts are there, right? Do we have the rule of law in Nigeria? Is this not the same country? So when I was thinking about it yesterday, the president wants to come and address the National Assembly on Democracy Day, in a joint assembly speech. The same president that bastardized our constitution and took actions that are clear. Look, nobody, no matter how they want to paint it or push it or turn it upside down, nobody in their right mind will tell you that the president has powers to suspend the governor. It is the very concept is anti-democratic, because the concept of democracy is that people are the one that elects. It is the people, at the pleasure of the people, politicians are put in office. And it is only at the pleasure of the people that they can be removed. There is no provision in the Constitution for suspension of the governor. There is no provision in the Constitution for suspension of House of Assembly. My goodness. Why are we, so a president that did that is now having a Democracy Day speech before a National Assembly that raised a 2/3 voice vote. That's an impossibility. The Constitution is clear that in order to confirm the state of emergency declaration, that the National Assembly must approve within 48 hours or 10 days, depending on the circumstances, and that affirmation must be by 2/3 vote. It is a physical impossibility to divide votes by voice. You cannot know the number of people that say yes and the number of people that say no. The same National Assembly that did that, the president has now gone. The president has now gone to address that National Assembly in a Democracy Day address. National Assembly that more or less, I don't want to use some strong words, that actually destroy democracy, with their action, right? And a president that violated democracy with his action. Now they're sitting in front of each other and then they're having Democracy Day speech. We're deceiving ourselves. Precious, we don't have a democracy. What we have is civil rule. We have civil rule. The difference between what we have now and what we had under the military is that it is not soldiers with guns that are ruling us. It is civilians like us in khaki. That's the only difference. The things that make a country democratic, they're missing. And unfortunately, you see, we don't understand the connection between democracy, the practice of democracy, and development. Economic progress, economic growth. There is a direct correlation, one-to-one. The higher and more sophisticated your democracy is, the higher the chances that you are going to be economically prosperous, with a few exceptions, across the world. But if you take a poll of the countries in the world, 190, 210 countries, and look at their governance systems, you'll find that the ones that have very strong democratic tenets tend to be very prosperous. Of course, you have the monarchies who are also, but you see, those outliers, you can explain them away. And then you've got China, that is a communist state. But you see, in China, they run democracy. It's just that it is not the participatory type of democracy that the West runs. So we don't have a democracy, precious. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Until we do, until we find our own way and our own type, we still have a long way to go.
So are you saying that on Democracy Day, the president will address the Joint National Assembly on a Democracy Day, address an undemocratic Joint National Assembly, and he's also an undemocratic president? Because that's my claim.
I won't say he's undemocratic because he was elected, so to speak, because even that he gets as a bill, but he was elected, so to speak. So I can't say he's undemocratic. I just think that he is not practicing democracy. He is not respecting democracy. He's not a
But remember,
Democrat.
but
He's
remember
not a
that this new
Democrat.
president calls himself a Democrat, and the person, one
No,
of
he's
those
not.
who fought
That's why I
he
said
was
that.
one of those who fought for this democracy we're enjoying now.
Eh,
So
I
how
beg
come
you.
he's not
I beg you. Let's hear word. Look, I live
Eh,
in Lagos. I live in Lagos. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a Democrat. Anybody that has followed his politics, from the days of AD to the days of ACN to the days of APC, eh? Check what happens in Lagos. You know Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a Democrat. He doesn't believe in democracy. What he believes in is some sort of paternalistic autocracy, like a good dad who knows what is best for his children. That's the governance philosophy of this man. He doesn't really believe in democracy, so, and I can give you instances upon instances upon instances that prove what I'm saying. So we can celebrate democracy day all we want, but I think it's a bit hypocritical. The people, and look, all of these people, the National Assembly, they are rubber stamped. Normally, the reason a president goes to a National Assembly to deliver a
Good morning.
speech is that
Moment of silence.
is that
Play.
sorry, am I hearing something? I'm here. Okay. The
sorry, go
reason,
ahead, sir. Sincere
yes,
apologies.
the reason that presidents go to address National Assemblies, joint sittings, is because the National Assembly are a representative of the people, number one. So when the president addresses them, it is taken that they are
Yes.
addressing the people of that country. That's number one. Number two, very crucial, is the fact that that National Assembly is supposed to be the guardrail, the check and balance custodian of governance in that country. So these are the people that are supposed to tell the president, no, you can't do this. Yes, it's okay. No, 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 let's do it like this. This one you want to do is not too bad, but let's change it like this. So this National Assembly, is that the National Assembly we are precious? This National Assembly that in that speech, precious, I was ashamed. I
Sir.
was feeling shame. Shame they run for my body.
Eh,
After they hear
waiting make you
National
shame.
Assembly, they sing on your mandate we shall stand. National
Oh, yeah, no vex,
Assembly,
honorable. Let me say make we start with the
National
serious part of the
Assembly.
conversation before we enter to the
Hey,
ah. Now that you have said this, well, let's go into that
yeah,
conversation. So first of all, make I pray to waiting Ibi say the Senate President talk for inside in speech.
yeah.
Senate President Oga Godswill Akpabio, Opo Akpabio, he don't praise Tinubu well for transforming what he calls the decayed Nigeria into the renewed, hopeful, and perhaps Nigeria that we have now through democratic reforms and national leadership. So if not be him, we no go fit say because Nigeria don't budget finish, he don't rot and go. So he praised President well as he talk the thing. I don't want talk, I don't want bell now with plenty of the things and when he talk. So make I just play just an excerpt of the speech we be saying make. Then we'll enter straight into
We
waiting.
commend
And
you
talk about the
for your
number of bills that they
boldness,
don't pass.
your vision, and your unwavering belief in the future of this country called Nigeria. Likewise, the 10th National Assembly, which marks its second anniversary today, June 13, which ought to be tomorrow, but we are marking it today, has played its part with diligence and distinction. From its inception, the 10th National Assembly demonstrated, and is still demonstrating, a renewed vigor towards addressing the country's complex issues and challenges through purposeful legislations. This commitment is reflected in its extraordinary output. A total of 844 bills have been introduced within its first 2 years, 844 bills. Out of this impressive volume, 107 bills are currently at the committee stages, undergoing the necessary scrutiny and stakeholders' engagement that will ensure quality legislation. 206 bills in the Senate are awaiting first reading. Democracy is not a gift, it is a trust that we must protect. To the youth, we must not treat democracy with apathy. To the civil society, we must not let memory fade. To the media, we must be held accountable through responsible journalism. And to every Nigerian, democracy must not be reduced to election days. It must live in our values. It must live in our institutions. And it must live in our daily lives. We owe it to those who fought. We owe it to those who fell. We owe it to those who still believe. May we never again betray the hope that was once betrayed. And may we never lose the freedom that was once denied. Once again, Mr. President, welcome home to your chamber, which is not only the heartbeat of our nation's democracy, but your political home. We now have the singular privilege and honor to invite you to address your people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please.
All right,
This is
Oga Segun I sure say you see that thing because this time around they enter inside National Assembly with trumpets. I don't know whether you see them say we carry trumpets enter. The mandate song will not even just sing them ordinarily. We panaram, para mandate. Now we use enter inside National Assembly. So if like saying a full band, now we use enter National Assembly because the Senate president just invite the president to talk, and then next thing now say then come talk say I beg, let's give him banana to welcome him. I would like make you address that before we go straight to address some other parts of the president's speech, especially where he be say in talk about the opposition. So could you speak to some of the things that the Senate president said, especially where he said that make people learn to hold them accountable, like journalists, make we practice responsible journalism. In Nigerian terms, I don't understand what perhaps responsible journalism be because say freedom of speech and investigation day, but after investigation and speech, fit to guarantee your freedom. So could you please speak to some of the things that the Senate president said, sir?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Very well, sir.
Well, I think to answer the first one, the responsible journalism. I honestly don't know what they mean by that. Journalism is journalism. This one that politicians suddenly they want to
change the name, re-Christian
adjectives and say responsible. What does that mean? As long as a journalist is not lying, the job of a journalist is to report the news. The job of a journalist is to, when the need arises, maybe to investigate, incidents in society and report it, if it's not just ordinary news. The job of a journalist is sometimes to provide perspective to public events, right? So you have editorial opinions and all of that. Which one is irresponsible journalism? As long as a journalist does not lie, and present fake news, then, everything else is game. So, and I say this because I know what, people like Akpabio and our political elite, what they expect when they talk about journalists. So, sorry, I think all journalists should practice best practice journalism, not responsible journalism. Practice journalism as it is practiced in other parts of the world, and so that we can also achieve the results that other parts of the world are achieving. So that's that about that. Every other thing that Akpabio said, honestly, to be honest, yeah, I mean, sorry, you wanted to say something. Did I say something?
No, it's okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Every other thing that Akpabio said, with all due regard and all due respect to him, apologies to whoever might be a bit offended, I don't take the man seriously. I think he's the worst Senate president we've ever had in the history of this country, and I say that with all sense of responsibility. I don't think we've had a Senate president this that does great disservice to the high office that he holds. He doesn't take Nigerians seriously. He doesn't take his office seriously. He doesn't take himself seriously. He jokes about everything. His jokes are taken out of context, and they're always. He says a lot of terrible things. This man is the number 3 citizen in this country, and he doesn't seem to understand the fact that he is actually supposed to be, in quote, an opposition to the government of the day. In quote. I say in quote because when I say opposition, I know exactly what I mean. I'm not talking about opposition party. I'm talking about somebody that provides a counter narrative and a counter position, supervisory oversight, checks and balances, all of that. I don't think he understands that part of his job. He thinks that he's Governor Tinubu's lucky boy, and his job is to make Governor Tinubu's job as smooth as possible and as easy as possible, and therefore, all of the things that he was saying prior to the speech, this place is your home. How can he be saying those types of things now? The National Assembly is not the president's home. Aso Rock is. Aso Rock is. The National Assembly is the home of the legislature and the legislators that are supposed to be, on our behalf, the boss. I don't know whether he understands that he is actually a supervisor of the president. On behalf of Nigerians, he holds supervisory power. If they say the president should stand up, president must stand up. If they say president should go back home, that he can no longer be president, president must go back home. If president wants to lift his hand and they say, no, Oga, you cannot lift it, president cannot lift that hand. They don't understand the power that they wield on behalf of the people. They've turned themselves into houseboys and errand boys, that are carrying by. Then you are having a speech, a joint speech presented by the president of the National Assembly, and you have a brass band to come and play on your mandate we shall stand. Not the national anthem, on your mandate we shall stand. Like, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us as a country? Look.
Oh, but is that even democratic? I'm sorry. For us to play that in, is that democratic?
I don't think that there is any rule. I don't think they broke any law. I don't think so. Somebody might correct me. Maybe people that are better versed in the rules, of the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps. But I don't think there's anything in the rule that says that a song cannot be played. But I know that by its very nature, the National Assembly is a decorous hall. It's like a temple. It's the temple of democracy. So the conduct is always very solemn. Normally in National Assembly, they don't clap. But now, they have bastardized that in Nigeria. You are not supposed to clap. If a president comes to deliver speech, you listen in rapt attention, total silence, and at the end of the speech, there is no clapping. You now have either whoever the chairman of that sitting is, will simply acknowledge, the speech, accept it, and you continue with the proceedings. It's supposed to be a solemn assembly. But now, we're now seeing our legislators who are supposed to be the checks and balance for the president, clapping for him. There were some things, maybe you want us to get into the details of some of the things that he said later, but there were some things that he was saying. And when the camera panned through the audience, the legislators that were sitting, you could see the body language and the expression on the faces of certain legislators. That some were angry, some were livid, some were offended. So you could see some clapping and some just looking at you. Like, what's this man saying? How can this man be saying this kind of thing? So it was a display that was very unbecoming of a country that is serious and that we know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing as a people and as a country. We have a long way to go. So Akpabio, God will help us.
All right, so let me quickly play some of part of the president's speech, especially where he addressed the opposition. Let's see, and then perhaps he got another mandate song
I
in
would
that
not
process
say
again too. So let's quickly see.
try your best to put your house in order. I will not help you to do so either. It is indeed a pleasure to witness you in such a disarray. must distinguish honorable members of this House. We must welcome and accept the diversity and the number of political parties, just as we welcome and embrace the diversity of our population. Our efforts must never be to eliminate political competition, but to make that competition salutary to the national well-being of working across the aisle, political aisles, whenever it is possible. Area in which democracy calls us to work together, whether in legislative or executive branch, whether in this or other political parties, is that the economy and social development of this country must not be compromised.
All right, so Mr. Shokmito, apologies that I'm making this about the president's speech, but please kindly address that if you may. Please oblige me.
You know, as I listened to that, I honestly, the whole thing didn't really sit right with me. There were a few things that the president said that I thought was okay. You know, honoring of certain people, for example, I thought was a good thing. But the most of that thing was a bad experience for me. I kept just wondering, what's wrong with us? So this is a democracy day, democracy day speech on June 12th, no less. You know, the date that has become the symbol of democracy. Maybe we can say thanks to Mohamed Buhari, who chose to acknowledge it.
Yes.
Okay. And the president chose that day, that particular speech, to mock and ridicule the opposition. This is the president of Nigeria.
And remember that the same opposition is accusing him of having a hand in the
Absolutely,
disarray.
absolutely. And then he says,
And then he now mocks them and says that he's happy to see them in disarray.
yeah. So
what does that
it's
mean? That's why I
confirmed.
thought we should have that
You see
conversation.
now, what for me, what this just says is that surprisingly, the man Bola Ahmed Tinubu appears to be he appears not to understand his place in history and the enormity of the position that he holds. I'm surprised because I thought that he would be more matured. You know, after all, he's not a small boy, he's not a spring chicken. Depending on which story you want to believe, is anything between 70 and 82 or something, you know. I mean, we don't know. The truth is, we don't know. That's just the truth. I mean, we might laugh about it, but that's actually our reality. We don't know. He doesn't seem to understand that the position of president. You see, the decorum, the poise, the grace that position is supposed to carry. He lacks it, and it's shocking. You know, once you become president, politics is supposed to end. When you are speaking to Nigerians, politics cannot be involved. He should not say those things, those types of things in public. Because why? He is no longer a candidate. He is no longer representing a party. He is president of all Nigerians.
Of the country.
He is president of all the people that voted for him. He is president of all the people that voted for Atiku. He is president of all the people that voted for Obi. And the ones that voted for Showore and the rest of it. He is their president. He is the president of every single person that did not vote. He is president of all Nigerians. So it is extremely out of place and out of turn for that president to then stand up to address Nigerians and talk politics and talk APC, PDP and talk opposition and laugh and, ridicule them and say he's happy they're in. He obviously meant those things in jest. But it means he doesn't understand
But people
the
think it's
gravity
because he's
of his
weighted. He's
position. That's what? Sorry?
People think it's because he's lighthearted. He's lighthearted. He's just weighted. So he just makes fun. He doesn't.
Yes,
he's
but
not that deep.
that's what I'm saying. I appreciate wittiness, lightheartedness and everything. but there's a place and a time for everything. Like I said before, that address is supposed to be a solemn, a solemn address to Nigerians. In that halo chamber that is the symbol of democracy. So in that, democracy is all about freedom, it's all about participation, inclusiveness, everybody. So it is not the time to play up your divisions, your political division. It's not the time at all. It's not the time and place. It was extremely distasteful, of the president to do that. But again, you see, that is symptomatic of the mindset of our average politician in Nigeria. They don't respect us. They don't respect Nigerians. They don't fear us. They don't think that there are consequences for anything that they do. That's why you will see a senator, a former governor, and a former labor leader go to an airport, and because an airline, whatever, let's assume that the airline was wrong. You have no right to self-help. You cannot now bring chaos and violence to play to try and enforce your right. That's the average mindset of our politicians. They believe that might is right, and they believe that anything I can do, I can get away with. That's why a politician will tell an ordinary Nigerian, I will kill you, and nothing will happen. It is the same mindset that makes a president go to address the National Assembly and address Nigerians and then begin to tell the opposition that he's happy they're in disarray. That language is extremely unbecoming of a president. Unfortunately, even if he sees this conversation that you and I are having now, it's not going to change. Because why? He doesn't think there will be any consequence. He's not afraid of us. If we are unhappy, we can go and hug Transformer because there's nothing we can do. He is going to win 2027 election regardless of what you and I do. At least that's what he thinks. That's the way they think. So no surprises there. No surprises that all of that show of shame happened. It was a show of shame to a large extent. 70% of that whole thing was a charade and a show of shame. And it makes me sad for my country.
All right, so let's speak to some of the things that he did today. People were expecting him to return the River State governors in life, but after all, we're practicing democracy. It's a democracy day speech, and only River State now no get democracy as they speak. And a lot of people may expect say one of the things we go do now to return the governor of River State because we celebrate Democracy Day, right? But that hasn't happened or didn't happen. And secondly, the national honors when they say give everybody the pardon for Ugoni Nine and Skem Sarui was, and the national honors for other people they won't give. Now, of all the national honors, people don't they drag them for the one way give by Ononoga. Say, excuse me, that this is one man that has ethnically attacked a particular tribe, and he's your spokesperson. So that means giving him that honor means that you are saying that he's been speaking your mind all along by lashing out on a particular ethnic nationality. That's what people are saying across the streets of social media. But I'd like to take your reaction, sir.
Look, the president approves of Bayo Ononuga's rhetoric. In fact, I think I can even say that the president put him up to it. I don't think the president, yeah, I don't think the president has any issue. I think
so. Now, president feel they make and they talk
yes. Why wouldn't I say that? Why wouldn't I?
Oh dear. Sincere apologies.
Do that. Then the president would have called him to order by now. If it wasn't, do you understand me, Precious? If it wasn't the president that asked him to do that, then the president would have called him to order by now. He would have called him to order. So, as far as I'm concerned, the president approves of everything that Bayo Ononuga says and does. The president approves of everything that Daniel Boya says and does. The president approves. Just name all of them and all of their violent rhetoric. The president is in full support of it. Otherwise, they would have been called to order. So why wouldn't he give? Why are you surprised that the president gave him an award? There are no surprises there. I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah,
can you hear me?
Of GCON. Yes, I can. Crystal clear, sir.
Hello, Precious.
I don't know if you can hear me. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you. I can hear you, sir, please.
Hello,
Yes,
Precious.
please. I can hear you, sir. I can hear you. Yes. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I think something is wrong with your connection. Sincere apologies. But I can hear you. All right. So I would like us to go straight to what other opposition figures have said concerning the president. Hello, sir.
Can
Can
you
you
hear
hear
me?
me? Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, so I was saying, of course, I think that the president definitely approves of the rhetoric from Bayo Nanuga. Who are those other attack dogs? There are quite a number of them. The president approves of all of that. Otherwise, they would have been stopped, you know. So, and the evidence, if you needed any further evidence, it's of course, you know, now he has been given an award. That's if you are giving somebody an award, you are basically saying, well done. It's well done now. Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. So I'm not even, it's not conjecture that the president approves of the rhetoric from Bayo Onanuga. The president has rewarded him for it. So you know that the president definitely supports it. And therefore, it was part of his mandate. The mandate of Bayo Onanuga was to shut people up and say whatever you need to say to get them to shut up. Attack Peter Obi as often as you can. You know, drive the propaganda, drive hatred between Yoruba and Igbo people as much as you can. The more hatred you can put between the two of them, the better for us for 2027. That's what's happening. And, you know, if anybody needs any evidence, for anybody that is listening to me and thinking, this guy is crazy, you know, yeah, how can you say this kind of thing? He's just been given a national award. National award. If the president was unhappy with him, if the president didn't think that he was doing a good job with all of the terrible things he says and the way he goes about things, why did the president give him a national award now? And the person that is saying, thinking in his heart now, that I am saying something that cannot be correct, let him answer that question. Why has the president given Bayo Onanuga a national award?
All right. So how about the Ogoni 9 issue, the Kudirat Abiolas and the rest of them? Is there anything you think this is a step in the right direction as
Well,
we move on to other issues?
there are times when a good action will be looked at, and you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, if a more decorous man, if a man that shows more respect and regard for Nigerians does what he does, I would applaud it. Of course, we should, you know, recognize the sacrifice of the Ogoni 9, Kensarua, and the others. We should recognize the sacrifice of the likes of Kudirat Abiola because, look, let's be honest, Kudirat Abiola, he could have simply begged his husband, my love, please don't do this thing. Leave it. Don't worry, leave it. And if she had applied enough pressure, he would have stepped down. But she not only supported him in private, he spoke ferociously in public, you know, places, putting herself on the line because this was military. This was under military rule. You know, those are the people that fought for democracy, not somebody that ran away to the US and God knows what they were doing and then came back and is now claiming. I didn't call any names.
How about
I didn't call any names.
how about the immortalization of Humphrey Musu?
Yeah,
The man who
so all of those people that I think have played a role of some sort in getting us to where we are today. I think that you know that's why I said there were some things that he did that I feel okay, this is commendable. And much as I really, really, really don't like the way this man goes about the way he does things, when he does good things, we should say he does done good things. Humphrey Nwosu ran option A4 and gave us the only election that we can look at as everybody in Nigeria will agree that it was free, fair, and what's that third word? You know, it was credible. It was a free and fair election.
And even Ibrahim Badamusi Babangida has
he has admitted it. He has admitted it. So the only thing that is remaining that I think they should have done, they should do. King Jibe is still alive, right? He should be recognized as vice president. They should right that wrong. Abiola, his children are still alive. They should give him former president because, you know, you can argue all the arguments you want to argue about that, but it will be a symbolic gesture from the state, from the Nigerian state, to finally put that thing to bed once and for all, that injustice, you know. But the awards are, well, Humphrey Nwosu's award, I was particularly pleased with that. Kudirat Abiola, I was particularly pleased. A few other characters, I was particularly pleased. Some, not so much. But I
Is
would,
the way you call them characters.
yes,
Is the way you call them
well,
characters for me. But let's go
a lot
straight to
of
what
them
the
are
opposition
characters.
members are saying. I know you have to run along, so
Yes,
let me
please.
quickly let you jumping on what other opposition parties are saying.
Yeah.
I may not have time to play their videos or reactions. That I will do once you leave. But let me quickly, pick your mind on what Atiku Abubakar said. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has described the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the lowest point of Nigeria's democratic history, saying at the bottom. If you get any part where you be saying at the steepest, the lowest part of our democracy, saying that under Tinubu rule, neither one don't happen. Now, in his Democracy Day message today, Thursday, Atiku stated that Nigerians are not experiencing true governance, but rather a form of domination. Now, former President Muhammad Buhari's administration in 2018 officially declared June 12 Nigerians, Democratic Day. Atiku, the 2023 presidential flag bearer of the PDP, emphasized that the achievements of June 12 were the result of a great struggle. He lamented that the democratic progress, which began in 1999, now gradually being undone. Atiku stated in his words, 32 years ago, Nigeria stood on the cusp of greatness. The winds of democratic change were sweeping through Africa, and all eyes turned to our nation with hope. Hope that Nigeria would rise as a beacon of liberty, justice, and self determination. I was privileged to be an active participant in that defining chapter, which culminated in a historic election that captured the imagination of the world and reshaped the political destiny. It was the moment of a great promise to and great sacrifice. But they say right now, say what in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu they do now, say now the opposite of that now they do now. Say it be like say the gains of June 12 were hard won, but sadly the democratic promise that blossomed in 1999 is being steadily dismantled before our eyes. Worse for inside President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. I'm not going to read and finish again because of the want of time. You need to run along. Wait till you think about how Atiku Abubakar described President Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime and in participation for democracy and how he don't handle democracy for Nigeria.
Well, when politicians speak, you do have to take you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You wouldn't expect Atiku to say anything different. His opposition, according to INEC, is Tinubu's biggest opponent. According to INEC, according to INEC, is Tinubu's major opponent.
It's the way you give me
Uh,
facts. I like the way you give me.
sorry, I can't help it because I can't be saying things that I don't believe now. But I also know that I have to be a bit decorous about this thing. So I'm not going to say anything directly, but I
All
will
right.
slide it in. So anybody that understands what I'm saying, they should understand. If they don't understand, me, they leave
According to
out.
INEC.
So according to INEC, Atiku is the president's biggest opponent. So I won't expect him to say much else. But is there truth in what he said? Yes. Is that not exactly what I said at the beginning of this conversation? Like, are we really in a democracy? I don't think so. And I think that if you think deeply about what is happening in Nigeria today, you discover that it's just that it's not, we never carry gun. We never see soldier where they carry gun, they walk up on road. That's why we are not realizing that we are in a dictatorship. Look, what is a dictatorship? If you have a leader that does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, without any check, without any balance, without any restraint, nobody can call him to order, nobody can stop him. Excuse me, that's a dictator now. So the judiciary have had more than one opportunity, several opportunities to stand against this administration and put them right. They have failed, they have refused. The legislature, those ones are gone, captured, completely captured, right? You have an executive president that is wielding power at will. Look, let me tell you, Precious, let's mark this. We are waiting for the Supreme Court's judgment on what happened in River State. KB
But
PDP.
they never sit down on a
I know, but they must now, unless they want to strike out.
But why did they delay him? Why should that case even be delayed?
That's part of
urgency?
That's part of the reason. Look, somebody was suspended for 6 months. People say this suspension, this 6 month suspension, is undemocratic, is unconstitutional, and therefore null and void. Oga Supreme Court, since you are the one that interprets our constitution on our behalf, it matters between state and federal government. Please interpret this matter. Did the president have the power to remove one of us from office, in the manner he did? 6 months. The 6 months. When did that happen? Was it not March?
Yes.
When was that?
March.
Was it not March?
March 18th,
So
thereabout.
3 months out of those 6 months, it don't go. Remaining 3.
I
Supreme
make I
Court
just
still
blow
has
your
not sat.
mind because one of the governors withdraw the case, the Delta State, and say, "Now you don't join."
Yeah. He said
And
he's not interested.
Akwa Ibom State
Yes,
too.
they will step out of it. Yeah, sure. But that's okay. For me, my problem is the Supreme Court itself. This type of matter is supposed to get expeditious attention, accelerated hearing. There is no reason in the world why that matter shouldn't have been determined by now. In normal countries, in a place like the United States, within a week, you'll get a judgment because the matter there's a time, it's a time-based thing. There's a fluctuation of time. There's the passage of time. Every single day that you don't resolve that matter is another day that injustice is sustained. So where's the Supreme Court on that? So if you have a country where the Supreme Court, so I'm saying that the judgment of the Supreme Court on that matter is what will determine for me personally whether we are in a full-blown dictatorship or there's still some hope that we might have some sort of democracy, is the judgment of that Supreme Court, because that action must be reversed. If it is not reversed, we're in a full-blown dictatorship. It means that anything that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu decides to do, they can interpret the constitution in whichever manner. Regardless of the black and white provisions of the constitution, they can just say, no, this is what the constitution meant, and that will be the end of it. The constitution will become a piece of toilet paper if the Supreme Court allows this thing to go on. So we wait. Do we still have a democracy? Is it as bad as Atiku is saying? The Supreme Court's judgment is what is going to finally determine that for us. That's when we know where we are, whether we don't enter Rwanda level or we still, it's the dictatorship in Rwanda now. Kagame is not even pretending about it anymore, right? So let's see how it goes. If the Supreme Court holds this up, then Precious, please don't be surprised that we may very well have a life president on our hands. If the Supreme Court,
remember the Attorney General also said it, that the president has the right to do all these things, that is constitutional. So if the
I
Attorney
know that's what we're saying.
A lawyer and the number one person will be Minister for Justice, if he talks to the president, get right, what do you expect the Supreme Court to say?
Every single dictator has lawyers sitting right by them, helping them to tear the law to pieces, helping them to project a faulty interpretation of the law to give some sort of semblance of legitimacy to their actions. So there is no surprise. The Attorney General is doing his job. He's earning his salary. I wouldn't have look. Which politician do you think is going to say, "Oh God, no, you can't do this"? So he's the person that appointed him. If he wants to do that, he must resign. And even after you resign, say, who knows? So I think all I'm saying is that Atiku is right.
So you said something earlier that if the Supreme Court, passes this, then that means we may have a lifetime presidency in our hands. I'd like to know why you said that.
Yes. So why I said that is, for every fair-minded person, including lawyers, including those that come on air to support that action, they know in their conscience that action was unconstitutional. The constitution is, look, there are some issues where interpretation becomes a bit, you can say, like the issue of hand, right? That issue of hand. In a matter like that, you can now begin to call lawyers. Yes, because you can look at it from a technical. What did the constitution mean by hand? Is it and as in addition to, or is it and as in part of them? Which one, which and? And then you can debate. In my mind, it's clear, but in another mind, it's not clear. Therefore, there's provision for misinterpretation. In this one, the constitution is absolutely clear. It's explicit. The methods and manners by which a governor can be removed, can be impeached, or can leave office is clear, explicit. And a suspension by a president wielding state of emergency is not one of them. Also, the provision, the conditions for which state of emergency the conditions that must be met before a state of emergency can be declared have clearly not been met. Are we living two realities? There is no violence in Rivers State to the extent where you say beyond what normally happens in other parts of the country. In fact, Borno, Adamawa,
Plateau, Benue.
Plateau State, Benue State, Zamfara State, those places are on fire. These people are dying in droves every day. 150, sometimes 50, 80. In the last 2 months or 3 months, we must have lost not less than 1,000 people in those states. Those places are in crisis. What's going on in River State that required a state of emergency declaration? So I say, therefore, if the Supreme Court should dare affirm that action, it will mean, you know what it will mean, Precious? It will mean that the president will say, can come and say, well, yes, the Constitution says that a president can only run 2 terms, but that Constitution, what it actually meant is that the 2 terms must have started on a particular date and finish on another date, and that doesn't apply to me. And that would be, he can say any nonsense to invalidate that clear provision of the Constitution, and nothing will happen. So, in other words, I'm saying he won't even need to pretend to go and start do constitutional amendments. You know what normal all system dictators do in other parts of Africa is that they amend the Constitution. They amend it 30 times if they need, and they stay in power. That's how Paul Biya has remained in Cameroon as long as he has. That's what the Zimbabwe guy, before he finally left, that's what he was doing. So he won't even need to do that. He won't need to pretend to go and start amending the Constitution the way Obasanjo tried to do. Obasanjo tried to do a third term by trying to amend Constitution. The National Assembly stopped him. This National Assembly will not stop this guy. That one we already know. They will do voice vote and they will affirm whatever he says. So it is only the Supreme Court that will be able to stop him. If the Supreme Court does not stop him on this one, they will not stop him on that one. And therefore, wherever we find ourselves now, we did.
All right. So just before you leave, could you speak to what Peter Obi said? Peter Obi also mentioned about the democracy. He is saying that democracy has been on recession since Tinubu's role. Basically, I won't want to go into details. As I said earlier, I have videos and footages of what he said, but because of your time, I wouldn't want to bore you. And he also decried or bemoaned the hunger, the corruption, and the impunity under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. When we speak about corruption, it'd be like, say this government never really talk anything about corruption. No.
They're not interested.
Have you heard them treat corruption, treat issues about corruption?
Yes. President Tinubu has spoken about corruption, and his own model for fighting corruption is that he should give loans to people. That's his answer to corruption.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No, that's it now. What? He has told you. He said, that is your president, Precious. Why? You must take his word seriously. The man said the way to fight corruption is to give loan to Nigerians so that when they have loan, they have money to buy things. They will no longer need to steal. May God forgive that man. So the better I do, who is his own minister?
Because till now, we ought to think
exactly nothing. Now, that woman, if you give her a loan from Credit Corp or Nel Fund or whatever of the other very funny initiatives that they are putting around, will that have stopped Better Edu from chopping billions of naira? So this president does not take us seriously. Corruption, as far as it's concerned, look, with all due respect, I'm so sorry if you're a supporter of Tinubu and you are offended by what I'm saying. But please, corruption cannot fight corruption. Look, a man, let me say this clearly, a man who did not exist. Precious. Let anybody come and tell me where the man called Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in 1985. Let them bring a picture or, a record or, something that he was doing in 1985. Let them bring it, make you can see, right? This man literally did not exist beyond a particular time. Is it 1985 or I did the timeline? The man appeared out of nowhere at a particular date. Which school did he go to? Which primary, secondary? What is his date of birth? That itself, there's conflict on documents that he submitted. So how can a man with that type of confusion about his own identity and person fight corruption. You know, when you want to fight corruption, as we saw with Buhari, corruption is going to fight back dirty. You have to be squeaky clean to fight corruption. They have to have nothing on you. So they have to look around them and say, what will we go use fight this guy? The man, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there's too much to use. So he can't fight. He will not even talk about it. He can't talk about corruption. So what he will do is to just give us the platitudes
how do we
and
move
all of
forward?
that. God,
But how do we move
God will
forward if
do it.
corruption is one of the
God will do it.
issues we're
God
fighting?
will do it.
God.
God.
So what's your reaction on Peter Obi's statement about a democracy being on recession since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's reign? You know, he's beginning to be a bit more vocal these days in this
Vociferous is
conversation.
beginning to realize that he needs to
Yeah,
talk. Yeah,
yes. So,
I mean, it's basically the same thing that I've been saying all of this interview and what Atiku has said, and the facts are there, the evidence is there. Anybody that supports the president, it's your right to support the president. I have
That
no issues with
less
you, but
than
at least
percent
don't lie to yourself.
of over
The
30,000
truth
prominent
of the
percent.
matter, is that as we stand today, democracy has regressed in Nigeria. I don't need any other evidence other than what happened in River State. There's no other evidence. I don't need other evidence. And then if you look at the way defection is happening and listen to what
Your
the people defecting are saying,
national grid.
you will realize that we don't have a democracy anymore. Democracy is suffering. If you listen to what Pastor Eno, Governor Eno of Cross Rivers, Akwa Ibom
Cross River
State,
State said, yes,
what
yes,
what is said as
Akwa Ibom State, yes.
yes, what is
He said
said.
that not being sure of winning
Yes,
election, is that
yes,
what you're saying?
yes. If you listen to the undercurrent of what he's saying, you will realize that democracy has suffered a great hit. If you listen to what the Delta State guys are saying, you will realize that democracy is dying, is hemorrhaging. So all the evidence is around us. I don't think anybody, unless you are being dishonest with yourself, I don't think anybody can argue with the fact that the respect for the rule of law and democratic practice is not really a big deal for this president. I don't think anybody can argue that. What they can say is that, look, it doesn't matter, let him just do good. That's why dictators have supporters. You know, if the person is seen to be doing good, some people say, don't worry about it. I beg, who democracy help? If we see light, if I can see light, if we have 30,000 megawatts of electricity by 2027, who democracy help? If between now and 2027, we have a rail line connecting Lagos to Onitsha, and excuse me, it's possible, oh, it's possible. 2 years, you can build the train from Lagos to Onitsha. At the same time, you can build train from Onitsha to Kano in 2 years' time. So if we have that, who democracy help? You go hear people they talk. So even if you support the president because you think he's doing good, at least let's not lie to ourselves that his actions are democratic. And that's something we should be worried about, because trust me, democracy helps someone. Oh, yeah, unless you have not lived under military rule, that's when you will not know that you want them. I'm not saying this type of democracy we're practicing is the only type that we must do, but we need to have a say. We need to be the architect of our own destiny. Right now, we're not. Right now, we can't even choose the president we want. We won't be allowed to. We won't be allowed to, as we saw in 2023. The provisions and the guidelines of INEC were clear. They were in black and white, but they went against it with brazen, bold face. And they were backed up to the hilt all the way to the Supreme Court. So do we have a democracy? No, we don't. So hopefully we'll get there. But I think that at the end of the day, maybe my passing shot would be to say to whoever is listening to you right now that we do need to take our destiny in our hands, that we need to fight for electoral reform, not necessarily because that would be a solution in itself, but because
Speaking
it is a
about
critical component.
that, do you think the National Assembly will give us the electoral reform? Would they give it to
Uh,
us? This National Assembly,
they
is it
will
something they can do?
look.
Maybe the shadow
Two
government
things.
part to Tom is asking for. He's already being
Yes, yes,
taken to court by the
absolutely,
DSS. So
absolutely.
yeah.
So the National Assembly will not give it to you by themselves of their own free will. They will not. Even if the National Assembly do it, the president may choose not to assent to it. So it is now up to us. Are we ready? we need to fight for that electoral reform as a starting point of the fight for our destiny. Then we now need to fight for the election itself and ensure that it is done properly. Because even when you get the reform, even if the reform says in black and white that things must be transmitted or whatever provisions you want to put in there, if INEC goes against it and the Supreme Court backs them, nothing will happen. So we as the people must be ready. We must understand that until we stand up and say no more, these guys are not going to stop. We have to be ready, whether it's protest, whatever your definition of stand up is, whether it's protest, whether it's sit out, whether it's sit at home, you must disrupt the system enough to get the attention of politicians, to force their hand to do what you want them to do. If we don't do that, we're all jokers and we're not ready.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Shego Shokwiton. By the way, Mr. Shego Shokwiton is one of the finest financial and economics analysts we have in Nigeria. You can see how brilliantly and exquisitely he speaks. So that one will let you know, saying the man will study well. And I appreciate you for obliging
Precious,
me.
take your time. Take your time.
I'm not going to take my time. I'm not going to take my time. Thank you so much. And I look forward to you starting up something on YouTube so
I'm
that
starting
I
soon.
can tell my
Trust me.
people to follow you like your
Trust
village.
me. I beg you. You know your people are, you and your people, you there well. I need you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do hope that your blight just, again, sometime soon too. Thank you.
You know I'm always available now.
Sorry for sucking
I'm
up
always
your time,
available.
please. No worry.
No
One day
problem.
I will make you proud, like Papilo. One day
Yes,
I will make you proud.
yes,
I will,
yes,
I will embarrass you with goodness.
we are
Don't worry.
eagerly expecting.
Thank you so much, sir. Do enjoy the rest of the day. I
You
appreciate you.
too.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah,
Nigerians.
bye.
Speaking about those stuff that happened today, I told you that the presidential candidates of the Labour Party did speak a lot today concerning the democracy. In talk, say democracy don't die under Tinubu. He gets a long speech when he make today. Say they say lizard wey one person see they become python. So it go good. Make a go kukuma play and kuro make you hear him from Peter Obi mouth as in use talk am and waiting in talk concerning democracy. And the saddest thing about this be saying he actually starts by paying respect. Well, make I just go make on a hear and by on self. Go watch him, make you see him. Waiting Peter.
Good morning. Let me respectfully request a moment of silence for MK Abiola, who sacrificed for our independence and our struggle for democracy and a better country. May his souls and all souls of faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Today, June 12th, is slated as Democracy Day. Most unfortunately, in our present state, our dear country, Nigeria, cannot be justifiably classified as a democratic country. The vital indicators of democracy are noticeably absent. Some do not even exist. Democracy is said to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Yet, none of these three measures exist in our democracy today. Rules, regulations, requirements to participate in election or be elected for are not followed. Consequently, people who are not qualified and ought to ab initio be disqualified are now holding public offices. As we mark June 12, a day symbolizing the struggle for true democracy in Nigeria, it is deeply troubling that under the present administration, in a short span of 2 years, our nation has witnessed a broad erosion of democratic principles. There has been a corresponding decline in security and the quality of life for millions of Nigerians. We have traversed from rigged elections to collapsing social service, from soaring poverty to rising corruption. It is most troubling that in 2 years in office, the present government has brought our nation to the point where our leaders now celebrate and endorse failure, lies, and propaganda. The government today, rather than show genuine accountability and measurable progress, focuses on manipulating the narratives, gaslighting the public, shifting blame, and weaponizing governance. Meanwhile, Nigerians live in a worsening and worrisome insecurity, widespread corruption, hunger, and general despondence. There are no clear benchmark for measuring tangible development as we continue to witness the collapse of key indicators like education, healthcare, and poverty alleviation, which are the parameters for measuring national progress. Simple comparison of what has happened in the past 2 years now relies on propaganda and misinformation to mark misgovernance. Our country today can best be described as a nation declining fast in all its facets. The security of lives and property has worsened, and the rule of law is virtually non-existent. These are hard, verifiable facts. On May 29, 2023, when this government was sworn in to office, Nigerian gross domestic product, GDP, was $364 billion. As of today, it has declined to $188 billion, a decline of almost 50%. Nigerian per capita income was $1,640 as at May 2023. Today, it has dropped to about $835, a devastating decline of about 50%. Nigerians living in poverty have increased from 38.9% to 54%. Within this period, 129 million Nigerians now live below poverty line. The World Bank recent report stated that 75% of Nigerians in rural areas now live below poverty, and the situation is even more in urban areas. Our education sector has deteriorated significantly. Today we have 18.3 million children out of school, the highest in the world. The quality of education has deteriorated. Our children are now being taught science without science lab and computer without computers. They are now taking exams in darkness with candles. There's not even glitches in the exams. Health services have worsened drastically. The National Primary Health Care Development Agency.
Okay, so wait. You know, you will get to fact check Peter Obi. Please, kindly fact check him in most of the things that he said. Do you think that the GDP of Nigeria has reduced or not? You can Google it, make good sure. The GDP of Nigeria from when Ibi say the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu take over by May 29, 2023, and now that figure they correct. Secondly, the earning and purchasing power of Nigerians it don't change, and waiting it be like make we even look leave waiting book they talk about. How about how Nigerians they feel ordinarily? Because you know say one thing way statistics talks. What's the statistics talks now one thing, and waiting people they feel for real life now another thing. It doesn't like when I tell us inflation don't they come down from 30 something percent now it don't reach 20 something percent. But how what's the difference between when the inflation they 30 something percent and 20 something percent? How would they use feel am I take the people for body? But you don't want to will surprise me for waiting Peter Obi talk for some of this conversation. I go play you the full shot, but make we just narrate some of the things and when you talk. This one will be say Peter Obi just they give uppercut anyhow. I don't understand because what do you mean by say people we suppose they unqualified now they can't qualify to rule us? What does that mean really? What do you mean? Who it be saying they talk about and what it be saying they talk about? I go open phone lines. I go like here for now because my mouth no go fit they talk all the things and what they hear. Now conversation where it be say we supposed to get two way. So what do you mean by the unqualified now being qualified to rule us? What do you really mean by that? Who be the people who know they qualified? Where can they qualify to rule us? And then what do you mean by say propaganda? Now you don't take over everywhere. Waiting on no do now toss on a do and then to be say to the factual for conversation of things where you don't do content to propaganda, you go find where we go twist them. Talk say it happen. Consider they won't gaslight Nigerians. Is that correct? What do you think about waiting Peter B talk? I would really love to take your thoughts and reactions for these things when you talk. What could go further? Go listen to more of that conversation when you talk and hear more.
Declared that less than 20% of over 30,000 primary health care centers across the nation are functional. I've even recently visited some where there are delivery rooms without toilets. The United Nations Agency recently reported Nigeria as the worst country to give birth, with one death recorded every 7 minutes. Nigerian businesses continue to collapse at an alarming rate. Within these 2 years, approximately 7 million micro, small, and medium enterprises shut down and folded up across the country. Over 80 manufacturing companies have permanently closed their operations. Funding costs of raw materials and energy costs have surged to an incredible level, making these manufacturing companies to close down. Over 15 major multinational companies, including GlaxoSmithKline, Beecham, Diageo, Procter & Gamble, to name a few, have exited due to harsh operating environments. A hunger crisis arising from food insecurity has deepened in these 2 years. Based on the Global Hunger Index reports, Nigeria's hunger situation has taken a hit, as we are now one of the hungriest countries of the world. Millions can no longer afford food due to high cost of food and non-existent disposable income. Our national population is experiencing mental health crisis, as the mental health and stress level within this period have increased drastically. Nigeria is now among the top 3 most stressed countries. 59% of Nigerian population are under daily stress. Mental health experts and advocates have warned that the present situation in Nigeria is having extremely adverse effect on the population, as it contributes to anger, anxiety, and depression levels in the country. The World Health Organization estimates that over 20 million Nigerians are now affected by mental illness. Despite trillions of naira purportedly saved from removal of subsidy, a policy initially justified as a means to combat and curb borrowing, the present government has, within 2 years, borrowed more money than the administration of President Umaru Yar'Adua, President Goodluck Jonathan, and President Muhammadu Buhari combined. Today, Nigerian public debt is estimated close to 188 trillion. Nigerians were informed that the debt and the borrowings was to fund critical areas of development, which are education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. Still, no significant improvement in education, in healthcare, in poverty alleviation, which we all know is the most critical measure of national development. Corruption is at its worst in this administration. Nigeria have now become a crime scene. Now our national budget is recently inflated and padded without consequences. One of the most glaring manifestations of this is an expensive padding of the 2025 national budget. Budget IT revealed that about 7 trillion was questionably inserted by the National Assembly. These figures suggest a pattern of inflated cost and misappropriation of funds. Power generation rate, which this administration claimed to have increased, is yet another propaganda. The only increase in power are the excessive high tariff being paid by Nigerians. The clear indication of this is instant failure of our national greed and darkness. In 2022, Nigerian electricity tariff.
Wow. Oh, wow. So even the energy where they say we don't add plenty energy inside now propaganda, if you go by waiting Oga Peter Obi, they talk like this. So could that be correct? Because this one when they talk, Oga buy another go come for you. Remember, say not be because I say they don't give am award, national honor of CON. Come me say no go fit talk. Oh, he go come for you, Oga Peter Obi. And for those people waiting say Peter Obi,
of our national greed.
I would like to put mouth inside to talk. Waiting if say Peter Obi they talk. All of these indices, everything when talk. Not true, based on a true reflection of waiting Nigerians experience under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. Now, waiting on that thing, we could still continue to listen to that conversation. We'll come back to other issues.
Failure of our national greed and darkness. In 2022, Nigerian electricity tariff for consumers averaged as 64 naira per kilowatt hour. By 2025, there has been a substantial markup in electricity tariff, with Nigerians now paying approximately 225 naira per kilowatt hour to be in darkness. What we have now is more tariff for more darkness. Nigerians should not forget the firm promise of Mr. President while campaigning 22nd of December 2022, and I quote, "If I don't give you constant power in the next 4 years, don't vote for me for second tenure." It has now been 2 years of constant darkness. This is already a midterm for the administration. We look forward to when he will fulfill this his categorical promise. Unemployment remains alarmingly high. Although government has attempted to manipulate the statistics to suit its narrative, the reality is that unemployment is worsening, especially among the Nigerian youth in their productive age. Majority of Nigerian youths are not in education, in employment or training category 8. Multiple reputable organizations, including International Labour Organization and the United Nations Development Programme, have cautioned against reliance on the nation's data as they are inconsistent with the reality on ground. The ILO has noted that Nigerian youth unemployment and underemployment rates remain dangerously high. There are also on the government reporting on unemployment figures without addressing the underlying challenges, as the revised figures do not reflect the hardship in the labor market, which is over 40%. Finally, I respectfully appeal to President Tinubu to emulate late President Umaru Yar'Adua, who had, on assumption of office, was honest enough to admit that the process that brought him into office was wrong and not sufficiently credible, and thus insist on doing what is right to save our democracy. And similarly, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who saved our nascent democracy by accepting defeat even before the election results were announced. We must end this troubling governance era that is filled with impunity, state capture, absolute regard to rule of law, and checks and balances required for worthwhile democracy. Accordingly, this administration must start upholding the rule of law and ensure there is transparency and real progress to the people. The president should stop touring outside Nigeria and use the remaining 2 years to tour the Nigerian state. Mr. President, you have already made over 30 international trips, spending over 150 days outside Nigeria. If you tour Nigerian states an average of 2 days each, it will only be about 72 days, which is half of the time you spent outside on foreign trips. You must then go around Nigeria to see for the first hand what your citizens are going through. It is time to stop governance.
Okay, so now make we address some of the things we basically Peter Obi talk for this conversation. Remember, see also address the fact that the president been don't talk say if he no give people light, make una no vote for him. Did the president actually say that during the campaign period? Because he did good, make we also fact check some of those things and so that we could sure. How did he say it, and did he really say it? And do we really have enough light? Say before the president come throughout Obasanjo tenure, we don't get our lights, the battle between 5,000 megawatts to 3,000 megawatts, thereabout. Now we dance up and down. And then as the light, they dance around those megawatts. Now, this president don't come and come talk, say we don't increase our megawatts. But even as we increase megawatts, people need to see the result because with the band A, band B, C, and all of those way BC happen. Waiting they come mean BC, they collect lights from people where BC they get some light to give more of to feed more of the band A people. So that means some people need to get light at all, or some people they get way less light because of say we get to give some people light. But is Peter be correct about the fact that we never fit get enough light as if was supposed to get? You don't remember that I said that the president, former president Muhammad Buhari, been commot electricity and railway and other issues from exclusive list. Meaning, say state governments now fit get the liberty or their liberty to make sure, say, a private sector to get their own electricity or to generate electricity. And this is what has happened. We make most private individuals don't join hand for inside electricity. Maybe now waiting make people like maybe the widow father go talk say, oh, you don't produce XYZ number of megawatts for electricity, and I'm waiting you don't get. And of course, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu truthfully encouraged that private participation in electricity generation. But has that really helped? But maybe we'll go back to that video where we see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu talk, say, if you don't give them electricity, or if you don't give one electricity, make one no vote for him. Now, wait till he really talk. We can go watch and see.
By all means necessary, you must have electricity. And you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me. That's the truth. Unless I give you adequate reasons why I couldn't deliver.
Okay, so do you think that promise made has been a promise kept so far? The president don't keep to that promise where he be saying he make. This is a question where a lot of people they ask. And then speaking about the president travels, the number of time where he be say he don't travel, or I don't know, I would already talk about that one. And Peter Obi also reflect on here. Now those travels, if he do them internally, it would do better. How the thing will use help our development? based on this correction. For some people, when they ask, say, oh, alternatives and what can he do right? Peter Obi just stated that if you spend the money when you spend on foreign trips, on local trips, he will get better understanding on the things where they happen to Nigerians, their plight and what they need, than spending those money for overseas travels. Let's not even look at the expenses, how much it cost Nigeria for some of those overseas travels. Well, we could quickly cover and complete that.
Who saved our nascent democracy by accepting defeat even before the election results were announced. We must end this troubling governance era that is filled with impunity, state capture, absolute regard to rule of law and checks and balances required for worthwhile democracy. Accordingly, this administration must start upholding the rule of law and ensure there is transparency and real progress to the people. The president should stop touring outside Nigeria and use the remaining 2 years to tour the Nigerian state. Mr. President, you have already made over 30 international trips, spending over 150 days outside Nigeria. If you tour Nigerian states an average of 2 days each, it will only be about 72 days, which is half of the time you spent outside on foreign trips. You must then go around Nigeria to see for the first hand what your citizens are going through. It is time to stop governance by remote control. We must endeavor forthwith to end insecurity and resettle all Nigerians living in internally displaced persons camps. It is unacceptable that millions of our fellow citizens remain in the displaced camps in their own home state and fatherland, while the rest of us live in comfort and in some cases opulence. Allow the electoral body in the country to truly be independent. The very agency that is supposed to serve as an independent electoral body for Nigerian elections has lost its neutrality and credibility and now operates as an extension of APC government, thus undermining democracy, eroding public trust, and turning elections into endorsements rather than credible contests. Aggressively tackle economic problems by expanding agricultural and manufacturing productivity through measures that will secure our farmers to go back to farms and reduce production costs for manufacturers in order to boost productivity, employment that will in turn contribute to national growth and generate even more revenue for the government. This is a better approach than attempting to increase tax in an unproductive economy, which will only lead to less growth. This is time to stop propaganda and lies and let us make Nigeria the democratic country it ought to be. I respectfully call on Nigerians not to give up, but to put all hands on deck. Now it's time to demand accountability, genuine leadership, and a government that prioritizes the welfare, security, democracy of its citizens over empty rhetoric and propaganda. A new Nigeria is possible. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, so you don't hear as Peter Obi you talk that one. I would really love to take on a thought and on the reactions on waiting Peter Obi talk there. Make we just speak to the facts and the truth based on the reality of waiting Nigerians they go through as per waiting Peter Obi talk for inside that conversation. How on a takes him and on a belief say the things they're going to talk now true say that's what it take be, or is there more to that? Or maybe he exaggerate figures and based on the advice we give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, how on a takes him and waiting on a think about him. I would really love to take on a photo and a reaction for waiting on a think based on this conversation and this statement to ABC Peter Obi make, and including the one we be say Atiku Abubakar also talk and the things that we be say talk concerning democracy for inside Nigeria based on the analysis of Mr. Shegun Shapito. We say we are witnessing what we're witnessing in Nigeria is not governance, and that's what Atiku lament. In fact, he talk, if I talk the things that what Atiku talk, he want to open up, he plenty the things that when he talk and how he use lambast this government. He plenty well. It's about say in fact what do they do now that the ongoing effort to rebuild united opposition front is not about power for power's sake. It's a moral imperative. It is about defending the legacy of June 12. It's about ensuring that no one, no matter how powerful, is allowed to privatize the state and reduce the people to pawns in their own political class game. So say people when they talk say, oh, then we won't do coalition. They won't do coalition because they're hungry. They run out of power. Say no. It dey far from that because say this one now a critical moment now in Nigeria they like this. So say this power no they just won't take them because of seeing a power now, but because of see it don't they very bad now for us to change things and to come out us from where we did because if we not do them, things go bad. In fact, he say it is about reclaiming Nigeria for Nigeria and safeguarding the future of generations unborn. This is not just a political contest. It is a moral crusade, a struggle to liberate our economy, a democracy, and our dignity from the grip of authoritarianism or authoritarian forces. And like every righteous struggle, it demands courage, clarity, and collective resolve. If others say, as long as oppression thrives, June 12 lives on, not just as memory, but as a movement. The time to rise is now. That's what you talk for inside that statement. So, what do you think about this thing where we say Oga talk for inside this conversation because he talk a lot of things. So he talk a lot of other things. He lambast waiting they happen now. Say waiting they happen now. No resemble waiting resemble wait they like democracy at all. You don't even get any shade of democracy because it be like say democracy don't come out or don't kaput based on waiting they happen now for inside the country. But we'll still get other matter than when we say we could touch light. Remember, started on I say protests happen across Nigeria today because of as Ibi say would they celebrate June 12. And it is very sad. Say a day where Ibi say will set aside to celebrate democracy. We were supposed to be happy because of say, oh, finally, we don't get how many years of unbroken democracy. We're supposed to be very proud and very happy of this kind of thing. But protests happen for different areas of Nigeria today. Yesterday, I tell on a talk, say, I bring somebody for here. We'll talk about the planned protest and how EBC they will use hold those protests. But aside that, Nigerians even troop out today for inside other parts of the country. Come they cry, they lament the hardship we EBC don't day for inside the country. I tell on and I say for Ibadan, not be small protest today. Protesters numbering over how many hundreds yesterday march through major streets for inside Ibadan, complaining about economic hardship and lack of genuine electoral reforms for inside the country. Say the country too hard, no electoral reforms. Say wetin dey go on? How we go continue like this? Wetin be the thing? Now they display placards with varying inscriptions. They marched from Mokola, Ademi Singba, Dugbe, and its barons, asking federal and state government to empathize with the Nigerian masses. Say you don't reach time where you be say, "Oh, I go sorry for us," because waiting with the see now, not be democracy again. I beg. Federal or state or all the government or unwa, you don't reach time when I go sorry for us more. And I will need a break, then they choke us too much. You don't reach time when I go sorry for us more. Now, some of the inscriptions where they carry for their placard now: end hunger. We are dying of hunger. End insecurity. Reverse all international monetary fund, World Bank anti-poor policies. End attacks on democratic rights for genuine electoral reform. Now, while addressing the crowd at Mokola Roundabout, former chairman of the University of Ibadan branch of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Professor Ademola Aremu, he can say we are saying attention should be given to the universities, to insecurity, to other things. We want people to be able to sleep and sleep well. You know, so I probably tell us people they sleep with three eyes closed and not with two eyes, but rather people don't even carry one eye, except you sleep yet. We want people to travel and have peace of mind. Not be say they go to travel, they go keep money for ransom one corner. We are saying that farmers should go back to their farms and be able to cultivate. This is what we want from our government. Aremu, who is the coordinator of the Joint Action from Front, Action Front, which is JAF, later led the protesters to other parts of the city. Security agents, including policemen and women, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps officers, the Department of State Security Services, followed the peaceful protesters in their vehicles, while scores of policemen were also positioned to at strategic points to ensure there is no breakdown of law and order. That one happened today. As I talk to you, today, like this one happened for inside this protest. Today, that's what it happen. So I would like hear from you. What do you think about this matter? Today, now EBC it happened, and okay, and they come up because I got enter inside PDP matter. Still talking about the protests ABC they happen. Soldiers, other security forces for the early hours of Thursday today took over the popular Efun roundabout for inside the Bromede roundabout for Uwe local government area of Delta State, forcing rights activists who were supposed to lead protests to go into hiding because people been come out to lead protests today. So as security men, army officers, soldiers, then come out as men mount. Now so boys then come begin run. They get to bail because they easy at all for them to survive the matter at all. But people come to talk say, why do you bring military to stop people from protesting? Military. Remember, say for the same Delta State, people come out to protest, say insecurity they too bad, and military come out, come they shoot gun at them. So why do you bring up military to attack people when we say come out or to stop people from protesting? That waiting a lot of people they talk. And more so on a day we be say we're saying a democracy day. A day we will bring out to celebrate as democracy day. Now you bring out military to you stop people from protesting. How democratic is that? This now waiting a lot of people don't they talk, and now the reaction where people don't they give concerning that incident. Now no protesters were seen on site anymore, according to people who say monitor the activities for inside the town. When contacted for comment, a human rights activist Israel Jew said June 12, which is called Democracy Day, has not been reflected in any way through the popular will of the people in voting MK Abiola. So say that democracy need to exist at all. He said the level of suffering, hunger, and insecurity in the country is alarming. We are witnessing the kind of suffering, hardship, and hunger that has not been witnessed in the history of Nigeria. Say the level of hardship, poverty, and hunger where Nigerians witness. Say they never witnessed that before at all. He said the town was militarized before the break of the day. Those who were supposed to lead the protest today were the same persons who allegedly kicked against the End Bad Governance protesters some time ago. So they complain a lot about that matter and the protest. See, they don't let people protest. Now, while noting that the matter is still in court, Comrade Joe pointed out that those who kicked against the protest were now resigning their political appointments from the government. Most of them are resigning their appointment now. They have seen first-hand suffering, hardship never been witnessed that has never been witnessed in Nigeria before. So their body don't tell them, it don't done for their body. All right, joining me in the studio is Comrade Yinka Ayoyinka Uni. Comrade, good evening and thank you so much for joining me.
Good evening.
How we take waka today?
Now wow. Blessing, I need to the
I
I got to
suppose
the
I suppose come and come join you, but more emergency call on. So how did it go?
it went well. It went well. I won't confess, say my body no strong like those days again. Because
Oh,
normally
sorry.
once I do protest, uh, I feel go like 5 interviews after I go see this bubble. But now body don't dey hear am. You go just sit
Young
down
man
dey
like
see.
you, old age don't come. I hold that
I
old,
don't
old age.
understand you. Now why we need to solve the problem of this country fast because we when we sick say we young. You know they tell us say we no young o. But went well. We started
Ah,
from where we are.
okay.
Our people were supposed to arrive by 7, but African time now. So we did not. I got to the protest ground myself. I think by 8 o'clock.
Okay.
We didn't move until 9:30
Okay.
because we had to mobilize. So we had a lot of gyration even at Maryland. Then
Okay.
around 9:30, 9:45, we moved towards Ojota. So it went well.
Okay, all right. Okay, so first of all, based on say today na Democracy Day, we like talk on a few things and why you on hold this protest today, and based on the address we President Bola made. President Bola made talk to all of us today. Oga Tinubu talk to everybody today for National Assembly. I seen hold the joint this thing. He talk say from that, as in the address National Assembly, he go address Nigerians at once, and he did. So would you like to speak a little bit to some of the things the president did today, especially the things where the landmark events like the honors where be say he gives to different people and the statements where be say he make and all that. I should say you don't see some of those stories them. I'm gonna make I let you put mouth inside.
Yes, I see few. I not listening to the wetin I dey do be say so that I go reduce my mental health. I know
Hey,
dey I gats dey very serious because I no know wetin I go fit go do if I lis ten to those people live. I no like to dey lis ten to oppressor live. I like to dey break am down small small. So wetin I dey do be say is either maybe I see the speech, I can't read am, or I see some clips. So I saw a clip and I saw some news release. The clip I saw, one was you talking about the fact that they are bringing rumors that is the one causing problems in other political parties. That they should go and check their party, and see if they are following due process and all. And I was I reacted. I was the hypocrisy, the level of hypocrisy of the APC and Bola Ahmed Tinubu never ceases to amaze me. This is a party that when Tinubu was in Lagos never conducted primary election for once. It's the same party
oh yeah,
that is
no vex.
telling
Before you enter gear, no vex. Make I just play a little clip of waiting in talk. Make it not be like see I
please,
too do. You
please,
know say you go
thank you.
good. Make it be say you see. He not talk much. Oh, he talk plenty things rather. I know cover much. Out of the plenty things when he talk, I make I also let you know say, as he talk, he address Nigerians. He give national honors. I tell you now to different people. I should say you don't see those national honors own, including by Ononoga collects national honors. And then he come also address Nigerians, say he know say they on the path of recovering the economy. He can't name the things the way they don't do to make sure say that they do well for Nigerians. But he didn't want to win country. You know, say Oga Tinubu get they very light-hearted. He's a bit throw jab. He can't throw jab on the position. Say people when they talk saying won't do one party system. Say they do one party system more. Say but say if they know people put their house in order, say that one at their own because say in go happy well if their house scatter. But we could just hear small of what they do.
For
Plus they give
me,
us a
I will not say,
they give us a tip of the international anthem of psychophancy. Sorry, make a play and make it a hero.
for me, I will not say, try your best to put your house in order. I will not help you to do so either. It is indeed a pleasure to witness you in such a disarray.
On your Monday we shall stand. On your Monday we shall stand. Order, please.
We must
All right, so come brother, you make us stop and here. I'm gonna make a let you react sharply, sharply. Is that the
So
one where
it
be say they
is
carry trumpets come come sing mandate song go? They carry parara.
oh,
Yes, they carry come.
it is a joke of a country that despite all the war is going on, some people still want to pretend. But as I was saying, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is an hypocrite to
How?
say that, yes, for him to say that the reason why those parties are having issues is because of their process are terrible and there's no due process in their party. There's no due process in APC. APC is the master of undue process. In Lagos, the primary election conducted for local government election, APC politicians and members are still crying and shouting for the irregularities. They didn't do any primary election. After doing all the
Yeah, so they fight till now, sir. They
Yeah, they
protest.
announced creating reconciliation committee. So why is he saying that it's because of? Yes, I agree. Those political parties are also terrible, but he has no moral right to speak about their terrible states. He's the father of irregularities. He's the father of people that choose people that don't go to school to be local government chairman and all that. So that anthem, I'm blessed why people are clapping and singing mandate. Whereas anyway, that gathering is a congregation of thieves and congregation of ruiners, those that have destroyed Nigeria in the last 30 years. Majority of them are in that room, man. It's a shame. There's just a few people that are in a small room that are holding us to ransom. So pathetic. Pathetic. Mandate of
Okay,
thieves.
as we celebrate Democracy Day today, we hear say, according to UN, over 123 million people they displaced right now for Nigeria. That is what you see here. We did 200 and something million people. 123 million people did displaced in 2024. You understand? For Nigeria and across other parts of the world, especially Africa. How this thing use they good or how it sound for ear for a country where they practice democracy, where you know they at war, for us to be part of these statistics.
We're at war. We're at war, clearly. The problem is that we pretend like we are not. People are dying in Borno, Benue, Jos, Kaduna, and some people are still singing on your mandate and blowing trumpets in another part of the country. We are at war. The people in Jos, the people in Benue, they know that they are at war. It is those pretenders that still want to act like all is well. And all these things continue. A serious president today, that you have an opportunity to speak to Nigerians. You will outline how we are going to stop all those things, reduce that displacement in your own time. The figure that you have reduced in 2 years. No, it's going around throwing jabs, and singing on your mandate. So it's sad. And I've said it because I was asked that question today that, oh, so comedy why? As we have protested today, it's like the president is not listening. We did not protest because we think Tinubu will listen. Tinubu can never listen. There's nothing for him to listen. We are protesting to remind Nigerians that there's a need to hijack power, not hijack a code, but take power away from these people that we are giving power to because they do not deserve it. He's not going to listen. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not going to do anything different for what he did the last 2 years. As far as he's concerned, in his own world, his own erotic world, all is well since he's flying and enjoying. And it has increased all over. Why you are displaced in your own country, not even you're outside the country. The people outside the country are still complaining. I still get calls from Libya even today. Talk less of people that they are selling them off in Libya and all that. A lot of Nigerians, talk less of people in their own country being displaced because of greed, because of extortion, because of mineral resources. No, 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 no. This APC government is a failure. And big shame on those people that want to paint this failure as something important. It's sad.
Okay, so as protest happened today, I know so you hold your own protest today, but people also hold protests across the country. I just read before you come in, I mean, read about the incident where happened for inside um, Delta State, where EBC then carried military, different people. In fact, the boys and we supposed to hold protests, con Jaffa. How you take see the one where EBC they bring down military officers to use constant protesters? Remember, say recently, military people been con fire shots for people who come out to protest insecurity for Delta State. Remember? And now people come out to come protest until we see they happen now. And they still bring our military to try to stop them. How it takes here?
So, now still the failure of Bola Ahmed Tinubu now. When we have a military that is in disarray, this is not an armed forces. It's sad. If you see what armed forces are in other countries, you see independent. You see them focus on issues. But we have a military where almost every month you get officers in the military that come out and say, oh, this particular general is the reason why we cannot win the war. Oh, these generals are corrupt. You see them complaining, and they do not solve the problem. You know, these are military officers or armed forces that they get killed, their barracks get attacked probably every month, and they are not concerned. There's no sense of urgency that how can you attack our own barracks? How can you attack our barracks? We, the armed forces, they are not hungry, but they are hungry when people are protesting. And in the South, and when it happened, you see a president that does not react. The last time that some military men went to intervene in a civil matter and some of them got killed, the president tweeted that they should go ahead and bombard. This is not, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the president. I said it on my Facebook. Yes, he's a pest. He's a pest. That is what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. What do pests do? They suck the life out of you. That's what they do. He's not the president. We cannot be deceived. If there's anything at all, we should not be deceiving ourselves. You cannot be a president and your people will be getting shot at by military and you will be comfortable. Because the person that has control over the armed forces when they go out of their line is the commander-in-chief. So if the armed forces decided to even be crazy, what is the commander-in-chief doing? But I give kudos to the people of Delta, the people of South, Rivers, that have been coming out to protest despite this military push, because it gave more power and more strength to the military when he dissolved an elected government, and installed a military
administrator.
So what do you expect? What do you expect others outside?
So how does it even sound that right now we're celebrating Democracy Day, but Rivers State cannot celebrate Democracy Day?
Oh yes, because
they are not
they
under
are
democracy
ruled by
rule.
military.
So how does that sound?
And so they want to pretend. They want to pretend like all is well. We have never had democracy anyway from the beginning. Let's go back there. We fought for it. We sent the military packing, but instead of them to go in pieces, they didn't go in pieces. They pulled out their clothes, which is actually their plan from get-go. Wore agbada, started political parties, joined political parties, changed Decree 1979 to the 1999 Constitution and gave it to us and said, we the people never.
Meanwhile, we be not there. Meanwhile, we the people were not there.
Exactly, So we never had democracy from beginning. It is still all the same people. So it is morontocracy. It is anyhow, So we never had it. We are still fighting for it. We are still fighting to have a civilized civil rule of people that understand leadership. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a leader. He's nobody's leader. He doesn't care about how you feel about him. He doesn't care about the pain of the people. He just want to throw jabs, enjoy himself, and then make those that are ready to lick his feet to be happy. If you want to be happy and enjoy whatever you can get from their crumbs, just look for an APC person and start licking their feet. So that's all. You'll be getting some crumbs. But the bigger the person the feet you lick, the bigger your crumbs.
But how long can we continue like this, really?
We cannot.
Based on the outcome. So what do we do? What do we do? Because it be like saying Nigerians, they don't even make I play a footage of that protest we happened today with you. And it dey painful, say we know, see people to even come out in their numbers to talk, say, okay, make we come out in solidarity because it do us. People be they look at the way we be say Nigerians they live before this government take over power and how it be say they live now. People don't look and say their quality of life, the things and way be say they buy before everything don't reduce. But is it reflective on the way Nigerians they used to talk about them? That based on you, we come and come protest. Now, so you did.
So Nigerians, if we say may we describe personality of Nigerians. We'll be special people. And there be study, you get one study where say that Nigerians are happiest people in the world, in quotes, in sense that they just find a way to get delighted, even when there's nothing to get them delighted. But they know that uh, they know. There's no Nigerian that doesn't know that there's a problem, except you are not facing the issue. They know, even those people that are in power today or they are in the government, they know. But you see, there is a kind of, we know we are crying, it's paining us, it's nothing else, but let's not fight. Let's just continue to accept it. You feel that they're fighting, they either clap for them or heroize them or even boo them. And these are due to so many reasons. Some is probably fate that tell them just calm down, heaven is coming and all that. Oh yes, and also there are some that they are fighting, but they are not fighting in the right way. They are fighting for themselves in the sense that, okay, the country is not fine, but it's me, so I don't care. Whatever I need to do to settle myself, I will. But in the process, a lot of things will happen. So some of them might be criminals, fraudsters, money launderers, drug abuse, drug pushers, kidnappers, and the rest. But this is the thing. There is a shift in the demography of every nation, and that is in Nigeria also. That the large population of the citizens are below 35 years.
Yes.
That means what that means is that you have a large population of young people, and a lot of things is a characteristic of young people: technology, entertainment, frivolities, and wide. So when you have that and you continue in this level of corruption and all that, you cannot sustain it. It will blow up on your face. Look at what they did to Donald Trump in the US. They are protesting. You brought police and started arresting them. They increased the tempo.
Yes, sir.
They are smiling, they are stoning police vehicle. These guys are wide. So you don't give them the opportunity to use it. The reason, and I say them, I tell some of my group of activists that why don't you even do a social experiment? That we that are organized fighters with ideology, let's just even stop fighting for maybe a month. Let's just stop talking. All our Twitter handles, Facebook, and everything. Let's see what will be the reaction of the unorganized fighters.
Hey.
That is what happened when you get a coup. That is what happened when you get violent uprising that has started happening in Africa. I pity this government. I really pity them. And Omo will say something, and I want to borrow from what he said. He said, maybe Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be the one to push us to the revolution that we need. Because it's not stopping in their ship anytime soon. He's putting more gear into it. So Nigerians should tighten their belt.
Okay. All right. So make I just take a few footages of waiting happen for inside the protest today so that Nigerians will no fit attend and will no see them go see waiting happen today. Okay, and yeah, more footages of things we happen today. Okay, all right. Now these are a few of the things we happen today. So after today, what next, Mr. Ayo?
Thank you. People always like to dey ask what next. What next? We say we know this stuff.
Okay.
Fight no end when protests end. The issues are still out there, and the protest continues. Bola Ahmed Tinubu got one of the most earliest organized protests of a government in June 12th, last year. Even though there have been so many split of protests, but June 12th last year, it was one of the earliest, and followed by embarrassed governors in
Protest,
a
yes.
yeah. So there's going to be more resistance of him, online and offline. And beyond that, we want to organize the masses to take charge of their country through whatever civil means that is available. Civil means of protest, civil disobedience, countrywide national shutdown, or through the ballot. But if they do not organize themselves and they continue to gather, I don't call it organize, I call it gather around their oppressors, or the junior brother of the oppressors, senior brother or friends of the oppressors, we'll keep getting the same results. So the ultimate for us is to send all these people packing. But we cannot get it in one day. These guys did not destroy Nigeria in one day. They did it systematically, step by step, bringing different structural adjustment program and policies that got us to the level. For our parents that were born in the 60s, 50s, they can tell you what they enjoyed in Nigeria. The free education, the quality free education, and the jobs that are already available in factories and industries. You know, the sponsored out of the country to go and study by your country, the feeding and low cost of education that they got. These guys took their time to destroy all these things because of their greed. We and Qatar, we have the same oil. Go and look at that country. Same for Algeria, same for Saudi Arabia, you know. But if you go and look at us in the chain of oil producing country now, probably we are number 10. And we cannot even call ourselves oil producing because we literally don't produce our oil. We pump it, send it out to people, and they return it back to us. All the refiner they say is working scam. So the organizing continues online and offline. And we have an ultimate, and we see it every day. There's a need for a revolution in this country, and we must have it. That's the only solution. There's no other solution. No shortcuts to solving the problem of this country.
All right. So, how was the reception really like? The police and the security agencies, how they used manage with on one another to do this protest.
Yes, I will say the police, Nigerian police, are experienced in protests. They are experienced. They only mess up because they get authority to mess up. I'll say it anyway. Nigerian police. Why? Because they have weakness and gotten me myself alone here. This year, I can't count how many protests I've led. I can't count. If I begin to count it, this year alone, talk less of protests. So Nigerians protest regularly. In fact, a friend made a research that Nigerian labor movement is one of the most organized in the world, despite how terrible they are. I will complain about. But not also, not but away from that, we also have a president in quotes that have been so close with activists that he tend to read the room. What did they do in this present June 12 that is different from what they did in the last one? In the last June 12, which they were so much bent on making sure that the protest did not happen, they deployed forces from Abuja to kidnap some of us, including myself.
Hmm.
Yes, so that the protest can be stopped when you kidnap few of the leaders. But they were not able to successfully kidnap me anyway. But they kidnapped the National Coordinator of Taking Back Movement. But that did not stop us. Not only that, they deployed a lot of scare tactics by the police and all that, saying that people should not come out a lot. They use their talks, well, they use so many people. I won't say they will do Oro and all that, but we came out and we marched. Also, They used police also to try and all that, but we came out and we marched. So this time, instead of doing that, they they did a lot of sponsored media distractions.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so instead of responding to us, responding to our press statement and saying, no, you cannot protest this, that, because when you are responding, you are fueling the discussion. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
You're giving it you're giving it energy.
of course. So they sponsored media houses to be releasing frivolities.
Hmm.
I give Nigerians to go and research, go and check the news from all media houses between last week and today. You will be seeing this one divorced this one. Somebody that have divorced 12 years ago, 10 years ago, they'll suddenly release the story of a divorce. There was one of Tokwe Makewa. Different people, Toke Rider. They just bred or bringing different
So
stories.
so
Just
so
to
wait a
distract
minute. Wait a
Nigerians.
minute. You feel say Nigeria I don't understand you. So you feel say Nigerian government, the federal government, join hand to bring to manipulate the media by bringing up
Of
stories.
course.
Are you
See,
serious?
you will observe that they pay attention to frivolities very well. They even sponsor it, many of them. Anything to distract Nigeria. They know that Nigerians like dumping on the next story. They know. So that's what they did. Also, they sent the police to invite some people. We, the Tekiba movement, especially in Lagos, we have always avoid being invited. I don't mind being invited by the police for anything, but don't invite me 2 days or 3 days to a protest. You are simply putting me on a scale that to sell me out, that I want to sell out the people. No, you can invite me anytime. Police station is our house. I don't have any problem to be in the police station. If I sit down with the CP and I'm writing about the CP, it's exactly the same thing that I write about him that I'll tell him physically. So there's nothing special. But they did. And there was two protests in Lagos today. One at Maryland, one started at Ikeja. The group that protested at Ikeja, they even went to the police station. The CP could not attend to them. He went to monitor Tinubu's motor card that was getting out of Lagos. You understand? So they deploy the tactics of finding a way to package the protest, and also they mobilize their own people, paid protesters, in buses and clothes, green and white, and they came to Ikeja. So that's what they do. So the police behaved themselves. When I got to the place, a journalist told me that she was trying to take picture. Police wanted to harass her. She told them she's a journalist. I was even telling her to show me the police. Let me even give me my own. But and I saw one of the CP or so, and he was calm. Adekunle and all that. Said they don't have any problem. I said, we don't have any problem as long as we are peaceful, we'll be peaceful. So they are peaceful. The people in Ojota also receive us. Everybody behave themselves. They join us to shout only, as we were calling the politicians only.
Ah.
Because they are all thieves. So we don't have any problem. And we shut down Ikorodu Road, one of the lane for about 2 hours. Then the protest ended. So it went fine. Although there were so many tanks, as usual. In fact, there was a time this water cannon was approaching us. And some of my comments were about getting distracted. I said, no, don't get distracted. Don't look that way. Just focus on the protest. We
So
are
therefore
not.
use water cannon to disperse them now.
Oh, they were. It was moving closer to us because we took time when we got to Ikorodu Road. We took our time. We didn't rush. We took time in the protest. Just as when we got to Maryland, we took time. The same thing when we got to Ojota, we took our time. We didn't rush. So it was approaching. Whatever the reason why it was approaching, I don't care. I just told my people to continue to protest. Don't fuel it, because when you begin to say, hey, you give them opportunity. We didn't give them any opportunity. We are experienced in this action, so we don't need all those stress.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Comrade Ayo. Make I open phone lines. I know say Nigerians go fit one ask you one or two questions, especially concerning the matter them way they ground. So please kindly jump in on the conversation if you're free to just do that very quickly. Let's just join the conversation. Kindly call up 0700 0817 029 4077. That's the number to call. I take that again. 0817 029 4077. 877 for all the things we will discuss today and make I know whether you want to talk anything. So, Comrade Ayo, maybe I feel let you go so that I don't go waste your time too much. I appreciate your effort and your time. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, this my area where I live. I
Now
purposely leave
protest.
my
Now in protest.
protest. Say Nigeria jaga jaga. So how
All
to
right.
do?
That's
I
what the
just
heck good day.
so make them know
Thank
say
you.
jaga jaga country.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you
You do
for
enjoy the
having
rest
me.
of your evening. Thank you. Take care and goodbye. Hello, good evening and welcome. Sir, I'm fine. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Keep shining and glowing in the Lord, yeah?
Oh, stop it. I like it. Welcome, sir.
Meanwhile, one thing that stands out for me is that June 12th is actually a very remarkable time in my life.
Oh,
My name is actually Emmanuel. I'm calling from the UK.
okay.
Why June 12th is like that is because
Hmm.
that was the only time in my life I ever voted in my life in Nigeria when I was in Nigeria.
Like, oh,
After
wow.
that election, I swore that I would never, and I didn't leave Nigeria again until I left Nigeria in 2019. You understand? And it's so sad that the next election that comes after this one becomes worse than the other one. They keep referencing the other one. And just like I was listening to what's his name, Peter for Nigeria, that guy, Randy Peter. I was listening to him on YouTube today. They had one program like that. He said something. He said that the politicians know it's a game. They know that as long as we keep making this thing unattractive to them, making them believe that their vote will not count, they will never come out to vote. You see that they keep reading, because what the guy did was he did analysis of the number of votes that this guy had in 2015 and had in 2019 and 2023, how the thing kept going down. Just imagine, can you just imagine that in a country where you have over 200 million people, 8 million people, according to INEC, determine who became the president of that country.
So, go ahead,
If I
because
was Tinubu, that thing will make me know that, wow, so over 190 million people did not want me. So what do I do to get into their good book? It happened in Anambra State. Ngige was not the preferred. But Ngige, what did he do? As soon as he came into power, he started doing things, the people started liking him. You understand? People didn't want him to leave again because he was doing what he was doing, started working. The only bad thing I did was that when Peter Obi came, Peter Obi just eclipsed everything he had done, you understand? But at least he made people like him. You understand? But Tinubu, the man just the people they hate him more. You understand? And again, the sad part is that the guy is surrounded by I don't like to use that word, but if I look at somebody like Abario, I look at somebody that I don't think that they're on a House of Rep man name. If I look at all these people, I was asking, is it Abbas they call him? I look at that one we don't be Senate for the House of Rep for a long time. Come will become chief of staff now. I look at all those people, I said, and there's one time I asked myself, I said, when I see, let me tell you the truth, I will never ask for military rule. But I grew up in the 70s, in the 80s and the 90s when we were under military rule. Nigeria was better for me than when the civilians came. I'm telling you, it's so sad. I love Nigeria under the military than when these so-called politicians came into the mainstream. Do you understand? I went to university when I was military. You just wake up today, school don't close, everybody don't go out. Every Sunday, keep looking at listening to NTA news to listen when they will call back school to go back to university, to go back to school. That was kind of life we lived. But now, do you know this government of Tinubu? People want to equate it to the one of Abacha, but no, Abacha's government was better. I went to university to do Abacha and it was better than what we have now. It was better. At least Abacha, you were dealing with military people. So the dealing with people, so-called civilians, but their heart is a lot more hardened than even the military. And when people tell them that the way you guys are going, you see what's happening in other African countries, and the next will tell you you are calling for military rule. Yeah, no, if you get sense, look at what happened in other countries, but you go get sense. You go get sense. See what your neighbor, Niger. See what happened there. See what happened for you go get sense. That issue of this really for Cameroon. The issue of this really for Cameroon there. Actually, they check him now. They check in government now. Government check. They got a president that stays more in France than he stays in his country. You understand? What I'm trying to say is this: the day I heard something that's so remarkable that all the protests have been happening has been organized protests. The day an organic protest will happen in Nigeria. The day an organic protest, and what will fuel that organic protest is hunger and hardship. You know, that thing has a way of uniting people, whether it be Igbo, whether it be Yoruba, whether it be Muslim, or whether it be Christian, or whether it be follow Amadioha. That's a hunger. That's the uniting factor. Once that thing brings Nigerians together, that is the end of it. And again, the president had that guy that was there, the first guy that came, said something very remarkable. Tinubu had an opportunity today to stop that drama that he started in River State. That drama he started in River State, he has a current opportunity. Instead of that guy with his fuel battery for Lagos and for West, or Onanuga, that basketball guy, he go give national award. That guy human being go give national award. I'm telling you, people have been saying this. Once Nigeria won't happen, Tinubu, I sure they also said it, which I also echoed today, that Tinubu might be the person that will make Nigeria reach that brink. And the man with the year word, that's the person, he used to say, Buhari below the year word. He will implement the whole worst past Buhari. He feels he knows Nigeria very well. He feels he knows Nigeria. After that, I know they do Baba thing for so many years. So I know what they will do. I know I will nail them. But you see, they say if you want to catch rats, you will be like a rat, catch the rats. When it could happen for Nigeria, and we've been saying it, they always go. You know, funny thing. Anytime I hear things like it happen, like when I watch your program, that's what I do is that I go to your comment section, start to see how people that their parents wasted time to train them to go to university. Start this one go talk for Igbo. You go not say that's an Igbo person. This one not a Yoruba person. Yeah, you just go tribal.
It's sad.
That their goatee mentor, who they call the mockery with goatee, will now bring you. That guy, people don't know. That guy has an agenda. Peter Obi is one of the agenda. The second one is to make sure that he puts problem between Igbos and Yoruba. Reno not the Yoruba man. Reno not the Igbo man. So why Reno is a Shekeli man? So why is Reno always interested in putting problem between Igbos and Yorubas? It's an agenda. People don't understand this. When I look at something like that happen, I look at what is the broader picture.
So what can that agenda be if it's actually an agenda? What could it be?
Because they know it. See, let me tell you something. Something happened in 2020 in Nigeria, and that is that NSAS thing that happened. They saw how people came together regardless of tribe. I was watching it on YouTube and on Arise TV. When it was Friday, all of them, the Christians surrounded the Muslims to pray. When it was Sunday, the Christians did their service. You understand? They saw that kind of unity. They will never allow that unity happen again in Nigeria. That was why as soon as the SARS problem happened, when they started destroying Lagos, what did they say? Igbo do am.
Yes, it became tribal.
The first thing that happened, as soon as it became tribal, it is scattered the whole plan. Everything scattered. I said, I don't know how human beings, I am 52 now. I don't know how I see my problem to Yoruba man.
It's sad.
Or I see my problem to that Muslim man from the north. I don't know how that man is my problem. They will just cloud your eyes like a veil, cover your eyes, make you don't see your problem with politicians, but make you don't see your problem. It's not the same Tinubu that went to Lagos, and they say in Lagos, like they said, is the Lord and Savior of Lagos. We are shouting a big power.
Yes.
Those people say power, and they say people today, this thing is really the same tomorrow, the same is praise. And I don't, that's ain't true. Sometimes when I talk like this, my wife is upstairs now. She's listening to me and she's angry. When she's angry, you listen to Nigerian news. You carry Nigerian matter for your head. If Nigeria fall, Nigeria give you BB. But I said, you see our family in Nigeria now. You see that all of us are here. No,
you don't feel wrong. Leave your shadow now. Even if you run finish, you will still come back now.
We have families now. We have families there. So I come and go back there. When I go back there, this is almost 16 years now. I never in Nigeria.
16 years.
I've been plan come Nigeria. I don't class, but the plan come Nigeria 2023 now. As soon as the Tinubu win the election, I they come again.
Ah, but that's not fair now.
I was in Lagos when it was governor. I knew what they did in Lagos. So this one now, okay, Lagos, Nigeria, they have now. You will show Nigeria shaky. Now, Pro Max. You will show Nigeria Pro Max. That's on the one side. The last one I'll talk about, I'll leave this phone now. The CEO thing happened for River State. I heard something that made you talk. I used to be the regional manager of my company there between 2007 and 2010. But anytime I come to Pentecost to work from Enugu then, I used to see those schools, those modern schools that Amechi built.
Yes.
I was so I didn't they treat me that time. They treat me. The next time I came to Lagos to Oklahoma again was in 2018. After like 8-9 years. And I asked one of my brothers that was driving me around. I said, those schools there, Amechi built, what the schools there now? He said, we can abandon those schools. They abandon them. I said, you mean people can abandon something like that? Something like that is legacy that other states should come and copy from River State. It's what this man they build flyover every 2 kilometers, every flyover. The things that better thing they do. Do you know one funny thing?
Sir?
All this thing, all this flyover they are building, all this thing we get for Abuja. They use them, they mop up money to rig 2027 election.
Why you think like that?
You forget the 34 million to be nonsense. What is it they're doing? They are saving up and mopping up form for 2027 election.
But what's in they won't carry the money for the election? Do if they save the money to use the election? What's in they won't use money to during the election?
Okay, this is 2025. Nigerians are suffering and hungry, right? By next year, the hunger will increase. So by 2027, when they come and give 500 naira, you go collect and with joy and do their bidding. See that people were collecting money and still concentrating their votes. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad.
All right. No vex. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, phone lines are still open, my people. 0817-029-4077. Now the number to call to join the conversation. Okay. All right. Yeah, the phone number still dey open. We could continue to take on a call on our reaction. But like I get Mr. Moop for my backyard. Mr. Moop, how are you? Moop, are you there?
How you doing? How you doing?
Because you kept quiet before, I'm fine. Because you kept quiet, let me take somebody else's call. You will wait there. Be patient with that, Jonathan. I'm coming. Hello, good evening, and welcome.
Good evening, Precious.
How are you today? I'm very well, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. TY calling from the US.
Oh, TYU again. You're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Wow. Yeah. Your audition today is fully loaded.
Thank you.
So I just can't run away from saying a few things. You know, some years ago, Akpabio once said, he said, by the time Tinubu finish with Nigeria, we will not recognize it again. You know,
he meant it for good now, and that's good. That's what will happen for good.
It depends on how you interpret it. We're seeing it now, so it's, what is happening now, whether it's not for good or not for bad, is for anybody depending on the side where you did to interpret. But quickly, if you go to, let me just talk about briefly what the president said today when he was addressing the
Joint National Assembly, yes, Joint Assembly.
Yes, you know, I just feel I said quite a lot of things. Yes, the honors that he gave to some people, well, rightly deserved. Some I put a question mark. Some of them, even the gradation of the honor for me is also, if you look at it critically, you might be able to spot, you go to see some why you go give this one you and give this one and give this one anyway. But it's his prerogative, so he has the right. But looking at the speech, if you look at the speech, I actually quarrel. I don't know who scripted it for him, but I quarrel with the use of, for instance, the word "sexy." That's something you don't use in an official language like that. It was talking about agriculture. I mean, how can you put that kind of
But I
nonsense in?
deliberately no mention all those parts. Now you yourself, why you go dig them out now?
I see am now. How you go to talk that kind of thing? How to a nation you dey address that? Even person wey no go school no go use that, and then you are celebrating what you call disarray in the position. You know.
They can't sing
And
anthem
then the
join them for them.
legislators come they give them come they clap for them.
Can't they sing
Which
on your
kind?
mandates?
I want to believe. Yes, I think say maybe he misspoke. You know, but all said and done, I think it wasn't presidential. You know, if you ask me to assess it, and then if you look at what Obi said, for me, I think Obi na advice now they give president. I don't think that indictment. I think they advise the government on the way to go. Because if you look at the issues that he raised, transparency, corruption, insecurity, infrastructure, unemployment. Look at the expenditure profile.
Yes.
Look at profligacy in government. Look at impunity, declining GDP, food insecurity, multidimensional poverty, inflation, power, rule of law, size of government, health, election integrity, public trust and confidence, is low. If you look at all those things, and many more, if you look at all those things, if you are honest, I mean, you will question the person where they give Tinubu, Senator Adedayo, where they give her 99%. You could wonder, how this kind of candidates, in all these areas will get 99%. That is A plus plus.
Thank you. Make I let you because I put person on hold to talk to you. So make I let you finish quick so that I will go back to him.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, bye. All right, Mr. Mop.
Yeah, greeting,
You're
Precious. How you doing?
you don't see me. Only Ororo day my face. This is my oil producing environment. That's how you know I'm from Niger Delta. This is, we brew oil where we come from. Eh? That is I am
Okay.
basking in my oil. So go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. And it's great to
Welcome.
be on your.
What did you do yesterday that your people are praising you that you represented them well? Where are you people going to that you did not tell me? I thought I was your paddy. Eh?
Well, there's
What are you
there's
doing? What were you cooking? You did not tell me.
no. I always go to a platform as an opposition. To
Oh.
defend what I call real democracy. So when I go there, I always say my mind. I mean, you have a lot of people, particularly on that platform, they detest me, but I'm not afraid to go to that platform. I just say it how it is. So some of the people, in the chat that don't like to come in, and speaking their mind. So that's why,
Okay. Was
yeah.
it on Twitter Space?
Huh?
Was it on Twitter Space?
No, it's not on Twitter Space. It's a program like YouTube program like this.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. All right.
yeah.
That's
It's
good.
it's one of the.
All
I
right.
think the guy is based in London, so everybody come to get there. So it's a very good platform, but it's a very diverse opinion. So you just come here and give your opinion of
Your two
So that's
cents.
what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
All
but
right.
I have a lot
Well
of
done.
supporters, because I speak their mind. So
I see as
so
they
having
hail you
said that.
well. Go ahead.
Yeah, having said that, let me start with Obi. I commend Obi for his boldness and everything that he said. But because while he was speaking,
But why would he give a speech on a democracy day? Is he the
why
president? That's
why
what a lot of
not?
people are saying.
He's the only
That's what people are
opposition party
saying.
we have. That he did the right thing. That's the way it's supposed to be. I know. I
Mm.
wish Obi has a functioning party. He would have dispersed his left lieutenant to different angles to go and speak to different places. That's the way it works.
Mm.
You have to have an opposition. Obi is just doing it singly by himself. Everything
Mm.
that he said is about 99% accurate because I take some of the things that he said. The man is brilliant. So anybody that's going to come here and say he said nonsense or whatever, I don't know what they're saying, but I commend him for his brilliancy. He was right on the money for all the whole narrative that he portrayed. So I give a big kudos for that. So let me go about what's going on, the so-called democracy. Precious,
Sir,
okay, technically we're a democratic state, right? But
practically
since
we are
Tinubu,
living.
you're
Practically we are
right.
inside
But
democracy.
since Tinubu come in, democratic has been backsliding. Let's call it what it is. It has been backsliding because what we are practicing right now is what I call semi-authoritarian or illiberal, illiberal democracy. That's what we are practicing right now because this is exactly what Tinubu is doing. He has weakened our democracy. I mean, this illusion that Tinubu was one of the supporters of democracy, I don't see it. Because he used every means to suppress, freedom of speech. There's no transparency. You know, I mean, look at the sycophancy we have. Okay, we have three branches of government, right? But it's on paper. It's on paper. They are all submitted to the president. Look at them singing on your mandate in a joint addressing in a joint congress, and you are singing on your mandate. I mean, maybe there's no law against singing anything you want, but you're supposed to be where you sing the national anthem, not on your mandate. It's so bad that we have people in the Congress that they don't know what's supposed to do. I mean, this Tinubu has actually killed democracy, in my own opinion. I mean, where do I begin? Am I going to begin freedom of speech? And there's one thing I realized that I actually did. I think APC, they did that deliberately. They centralized the economy. They use it like the removal of fuel subsidy and everything. They use it to, impoverish the Nigerian people, so they will never be awakened to understand where they are coming from. I still believe it. This is exactly what's happening in Nigerian democracy today. Particularly this Tinubu, the so-called Tinubu, that's exactly what he did. I don't really believe there's anything like democracy in Nigeria. I mean, it's not a full dictatorship. Let's call it what it is. But like I said, it's a semi-dictatorship. That's what we are practicing. So it's really terrible. Sometimes, yeah. Did you say something?
So go ahead, please. I was talking to a caller who's coming in. Go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. I'm just saying, there's lack of transparency, suppression of freedom of express, the press can't even speak, you be arrested and something like that. So we're not heading in the right direction as of today. He has been in office for 2 years. What's the next 2 years going to be? Because if he has any kind of achievement, he has to achieve. He has already plateaued. He's going to be politicking from now on. That's where we are right now. So all those speech that he was making, that he welcome an opposition. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I call it what it is.
But in one breath, he welcomed the opposition. The other breath, he can't talk. Say they happy to see them in Disarray. It seems that they don't want to do
Yeah.
themselves well.
But look at people clapping. But it's not even the occasion to make. You are speaking about democracy. You are addressing the Congress. You are addressing Nigeria. But it's not a place to play partisan politics. And the way he does it. So, but anyway, I just want to have my 2 cents. Okay, Nigerian
Thank
problem
you.
don't tire me. Okay, but
No, come back
no, no,
here.
no,
All
no.
of now. You know go tire now. We go talk this problem. We go continue to. I go bring God from. Don't make me angry. If I
No, no,
know
no, no.
it's
I
yes,
will always
I go
come. I
send
will always
somebody
come
here
and
to
give
bring
my
God
two
now.
cents or chat on
We
my
will
two
keep
cents.
talking about the problem. Who told you stop? Why are you leaving the problem for? You're not leaving it for me. We'll talk about it. We're together in the problem. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah, yeah.
Monoki. I appreciate
But
you. Thank
anyway,
you so much.
yeah, I don't talk a lot. I just have short words to say. But anyway, thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
All
Thank
right, bye
you.
bye.
And goodbye. You look good, by the way. You look smart. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well
Yes,
done. Thank you.
yeah.
All right. Hello, good evening, and welcome. Hello, sir.
So hello, yeah.
Yes. What's your name, sir?
My name is Morgan. Guten Abend.
Good Abend.
Yeah,
We good?
yeah, good, my dear.
Good. Good. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, there's one thing I feel really uncomfortable with the system that I'm saying. Can you please just tell if they are going to make it become a compulsory that every Nigerian shall sing for your mandate, we shall stand as our national item?
Why Nami you go ask that question? Or for people for Nigeria
No,
where
I'm
you go
not
ask?
asking you.
Okay.
I wish I can get in touch with the president and so-called the House of Assembly, whatever they call themselves.
National Assembly,
so
sir.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the senators and all because it looks so shameful. Do you know right now, as a Nigerian, I cannot even sing Nigerian national anthem again. No, that's the truth. I got to tell you. Look at me. I was born 1968. The if you know what that is, you know, so that looks really uncomfortable. You know, when I was driving coming from Augsburg, I was listening to your program where that guy from Lagos was talking. You know, I was really, really in support for what he was saying because it looks so shameful. In Deutschland, in Germany, where I live right now, you never, if anything, when the parliament is holding any conference or whatever, you are going to see national item of Germany is being sung. But in Nigeria, so now on your Mondays we shall stand is now our national item. I think it's really, really not comfortable with what is going on.
You do know that the president has the majority, right? In the get the majority.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Even though if he has whatever he has, but Nigeria does not belong to him. Nigeria belongs to every one of us. So I mean, it's so shameful. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. What in Germany? What kind of Ashlecker this man is doing? What the hell is going on with him? What the hell is going on with him? This makes no sense. I mean, we should try sometimes, even though you want to really stand behind this guy. Sometimes let's feel that we are a nation. People ask me questions. Ask what is wrong with your country. You know, in my company where I work, the company was formed 1974 in a very small village. And this man worth over how many millions of euros? He knows everything about Nigeria. He has a best friend who is a professor in agric in Calabar. Sometimes he gives me some books. Said, this is my friend. But the question he asks me, why can't I go to Nigeria to invest? He buy a lot of things from Ghana, pineapple. We deals with bio, in terms import food from Africa, from Uganda, like Tanzania, they have this what they call this coffee. So a lot of things. But when we start seeing all these things, it's not really look good. On a serious note, these guys should try to slow it down. They should try and slow it down and let us feel a little bit comfortable. I mean, I intend coming home next in 2 months. Whatever everything I think, how will I drive from Benin to my village, Onwa? I'm from Onwa, so it makes me feel, really. So it's not really good. No, it does not really good. It's not fine. Believe me. If we want to sing let them make it. They can answer pass it in less than 2 minutes. We start singing on your mandate, we stand as a national item.
Thank you so much.
There's one thing. There's one thing I just really have to contribute.
What's that?
My last point.
What's that?
Please, the obedience. If really they want to help Nigeria, they should slow it a little bit down for Obi, because I feel one thing that I see in him is a little bit confused, because he really want to give his heart to the country, but people that stand behind him are really telling him no, he must be. But if he really want to do it, he should a little bit slow down. Think he can from my own point, he can decide to leave his VP and work with someone else to rescue this country. But we're not. We just be. It's me a girl. He can rule. Tinubu can rule for 2027. It's me a girl. But it doesn't really make any sense. As for PDP, if I were to be a member of PDP, I think that the PDP is dead. It's not about winning an election in 2027. That's not the point for PDP. You can reinforce yourself, push all those bastards that makes no sense. Sorry to use that terms. Those guys that makes no sense. If you know my name from where I'm from Edo State, from Onwa, you see my uncle is on. I tell him, Trey, I say, uncle, you don't play this kind of politics you guys are playing. It doesn't make any sense. Nigeria is telling on everybody. So please, let them tell us if we have to make our national item or your mandate, we shall stand then.
So that will change them. All right. Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Good night. Good night, ciao.
Yeah,
Good
ciao.
night. All right, Nigerians. That's the size of our package this evening. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's been part of the show today. Thank you so much for your thoughts, your reactions, and for everyone who called in. I appreciate you guys a great deal. Thank you so much. Let's continue to talk and speak for the development of our country because we have just one country to call ours. We know get another one in no day too. So we'll continue to talk so that Nigeria will really reach that enviable height and position where they look out to be. My name is Precious and I love you guys. I appreciate you. Tomorrow is another big day on the show where Biso will get all my three men and that get him up inside the house. And I sure say you go enjoy them big time. I love you guys. Protect your mental health because you know what? Wahala, no dey finish. See you again tomorrow evening. Guys. Bye.